Welcome into Cougar Stadium. Matt Robinson, Jesse Munoz here with you. I'm pretty sure you saw that last play, but we'll give you a description. Just underway here at Cougar Stadium, not even a minute in, and COC with a 7-0 lead after Armani Eden. And the touchdown pass to Trevon Elliott has given the Cougars a 6-0 lead, waiting on the extra point now as Tanner Brown lines up, and he drives the PAT through. The try is good. It's 7-0 Cougars, Jesse. Nice to see you.
Same to you. Welcome, everybody.
Sorry we're a little late on here, but we are ready to go. Having some internet issues and other things going on, but, you know, we get it figured out, and we at least got you the opening start here. The Cougars with a 7-0 lead. They started with the ball back on the 27-yard line, the 25-yard line after a run back from DeMaje Williams. Looked like it was going to go for a kickoff return for a touchdown, but a penalty in the backfield, a block, brought the ball back towards the 20-yard line. The Cougars then a 27-yard pass from Armani Eden to Alonzo Henderson. And then after that, Eden able to find Elliott from 28 out to make it 7-0. And the Cougars with an early lead as Brown put the ball through the uprights. And the Cougars will now kick it away. So a good start after a bad week last week, Jesse, for COC.
Absolutely, and I think that's exactly what the Cougars were looking to do. Obviously, you said some struggles last week, some mistakes that were made on both sides of the ball. So to come out and get off to a hot start like that, I think that's exactly what the Cougars were looking for.
And so they have a 7-0 lead here, and they will get ready to kick away here as Tanner Brown, standing back at about the 25-yard line, will drive this one deep and into the end zone. It'll be taken there and a knee taken by Jared Adelman. And that is where, the 25-yard line is where the Grossmont Griffins will start with the football. So, Jesse, a little delayed start for us, but we're here to go.
Hey, we're here. We're ready. Sorry to everybody out there, but this should be a good one. And like I said, already some early fireworks. So sit down, get your popcorn ready, and let's enjoy a ball game.
So we get our first look at the Grossmont offense here. Sharif Harris-Legree, the quarterback. He is under center. Two backs in the backfield, two receivers out to the near side. As Legree will step back and throw near side. Pass is caught by Malik Steen, and he's knocked out of bounds at about the 30-yard line. Picks up about 5 yards on the play. It'll bring up 2nd down and 5. I got you. I'm fixing stuff, so. That one's not picking up. And here on 2nd down, Saddleback will run the football, and they pick up about 10 yards on the run. And so it brings up 1st and 10 here, new set of downs for Saddleback. Or excuse me, for Grossmont, as we in last week here in my head, everybody running around. Here on 1st and 10, the Griffins will throw. Steen catches it, and he's tackled at about the 49-yard line of the Griffins here. It'll bring up 2nd down at about 1. So a good start for the Cougars, and Grossmont trying to counter here, trailing 7-0. Two old rivals here, Jesse. They've played a number of times over the last few years. It's the first time, though, Grossmont's been in town for 3 years.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of history between these two programs, two of the traditional powerhouses in the region. Grossmont, off year last season, but definitely a team that, always brings a high level of competition to the table, and definitely not anyone the Cougars are going to look past.
So now some movement up front. I believe false start is going to be the call. And it indeed is. So they'll back up 5 yards here, and it'll bring up second down and we'll say 6 from about the 44-yard line. As you said, 2 traditional powers. Michael Jordan, the head coach of the Grossmont Griffins in his 14th season. Of course, he succeeded his dad back in 2006. Been with the program a long time, played for Grossmont back in the day. And then Ted Iacenda, the head coach here of the Cougars, who played for the Cougars and has been with the program for a number of years.
7th season with the program, Matt.
Yeah. As this one thrown onto the far side, a pass caught, and on the 49-yard line of the Cougars, a first down here for Grossmont. Their second first down here of the first half. So that one picks up the 7. They needed 6. The Grease so far, 3 for 3 for 14 yards. Now 3 for 3, for 21 yards. As that last pass caught by Perry Steele for 7. So it'll bring up 1st and 10 from the Cougar 49-yard line. Harris Legree stays under center. He'll drop back to pass. 5-step drop, looking long, down through the middle of the field. It's picked off. Right in the middle of the field, Jock Fukobradovic playing center field, catches it right there, and the Cougars get a big turnover.
And perfectly positioned right there. Looked like he didn't even have to move, spotted the ball and just reeled it in. That's a big-time play for the Cougars.
And it comes right when we needed it for COC here early on, with Grossmont starting to move the ball downfield. And one of my notes on Jock early in the year was plays center field well, and there it was right there. Just that center fielder standing in the way and makes the interception, his first of the season.
You said it, Matt, a big-time obstacle back there, whether it's roaming the backfield or coming up and making plays on the run. He's a guy that does a lot of great things for him out there.
So we get our second look here in Armani Eden, who had a good first drive for the Cougars, led them downfield with a couple of quick strikes on passes. He'll hand off here on first down to Dunn. Dunn across the 30 and then gets knocked down at the 33-yard line. A nice chunk here on first down, and the Cougars are ahead of schedule.
Well, it's good to see Eden come in, got that first drive off going, a little bit of confidence, build on some of the positives that he did last week. And same thing for Caden Dunn, getting that first rush attack going. That's something that Coach Ted Iacenda really stressed this week in practice, was establishing the run game.
So it'll bring up second down. We'll call it 3 from about the 32-yard line. Dunn will run, and he tries to slash through the middle. Doesn't have much room, gets to right about the marker, maybe a half a yard short. And it'll bring up about 3rd and we'll say like a half a yard. So a good 3rd and short situation here for the Cougars, who were 24% on 3rd down last week, Jesse. Another good chance maybe to go with Dunn and try and bang the ball through for a first down.
Absolutely. I mean, things have been working so far. So, again, it's instilling that confidence. It's in getting those first downs, moving the chains, and lining up and doing it again.
So Eden stays in the shotgun here. 10:18 on the clock. He'll take the direct snap. Hands it off. Dunn will cut it to the outside, across the 45, through the 50, across midfield, and out of bounds right about the 40-yard line of Grossmont. A Cougar first down, and they are on the Grossmont side of the field.
And a nice block down the field by number 15, Trey Longstreth. Way to extend that play a little bit.
Longstreth, usually the holder for the Cougars, but playing outside in a receiver position here today. As they set up here on 1st and 10 at the 43-yard line of the Griffins. Eden in the shotgun. Will fake the handoff, throws, has a man downfield. Henderson dives and couldn't make the catch. Good look from Eden downfield, just led his receiver a little too much.
Absolutely, and I really like the play call there. You go run, 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 you get the first downs, and then you spread it out, and that's the type of thing that can happen just off the mark. But look for them to go back to that combination again.
Especially off the play action with Dunn. And Eden just pulls it back at the last second, seeing a man downfield. Nearly had Henderson for a big chunk.
And Henderson with a big game last week, so look for more of that.
Offside, maybe a false start going to be called. And actually they're going to say offside. A man way in the backfield, number 41 for Grossmont.
A little anxious out there. But
that was Corey Beebe. He was basically standing next to Armani Eden on the play.
Well, that first step is everything, and he definitely wanted to get to the backfield first. So can't fault him, but the Cougars will take the penalty nonetheless.
Now ahead of schedule here on second down with about 5 yards to go on the 38-yard line. Eden will roll to his right immediately. Wants to throw downfield. Now we'll just tuck it and run with plenty of room. And he'll get out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Good enough for a Cougar first down. They continue to move the chains with 9:33 and a new set of downs.
And all sorts of time there. You really like the decision-making by Eden. Saw it, had plenty of time to make his reads, look down the field. It wasn't there, get the yards, and move on.
They wind the clock here as Eden, they say, was forced out. And it's a first down from the 30-yard line of the Griffins. Palmer the center, Eden in the shotgun, Dunn the lone back. Two receivers, out to the near side. They'll hand off to Dunn. He tries to cut it on the inside and gets maybe a yard. Good job by Therese Patain to make the tackle. He was the first one in there, and it's 2nd and 9. Cougars looking at the sideline as they wait for the signal on the play. 2nd and 9 here from the Grossmont 29-yard line. Dunn the lone back. Two receivers to the far side. One of them is Henderson. The other is Longstreth. On the near side, it's just Elliott. They'll throw to Henderson in space. He juggled it. Got around his man, though. We'll cut it back to the outside across the 20. Inside the 15 to the 10. Tries to dive to the pylon. And the signal is a touchdown. Alonzo Henderson, he juggled the pass initially, was able to gather it and then cut back to the inside before going outside for a Cougar touchdown.
And another explosive play from Henderson. You know, Matt, I look back to last week. He had a similar type play where it looked like a big gain. He bobbled a little bit and I think was trying to move forward before he reeled it in. This week, week 2, you clean up those small mistakes. And like you said, was able to haul it in and make the most of it. Touchdown Cougars.
So it's a quick 2 scores on 2 drives. Good job from Armani Eden, kind of controlling the offense. And the Cougars have a chance to take a 14-point lead here as the just about automatic Tanner Brown lines up for the touch. Try is good. It's 14-0 Cougars. A great start for COC here, Jesse.
Yeah, a lot of positives out there. Like I said, it was a strong week of practice from players to coaches. I mean, everyone spoke to that. The Cougars really came in, tried to refocus, bounce back from that week 1 loss, and so far so good, guys.
And a big difference right now early on in the ballgame. Caden Dunn active here early. That's something Coach Ted Iacenta talked about. We'll get you his interview at halftime, just like we did last week as he sat down with Cougar football reporter Yvette Sanchez. But he was one of his stress points was run the football more, and that opened up the pass here.
Absolutely. You know, and it's something they tried to do last week. The success just wasn't there for whatever reason. A big part of that was probably Saddleback's defensive front. They brought a lot of talent. But, again, a point of emphasis for the Cougars, and so far so good.
So 14-0 lead here early on for COC. You join us here on this Saturday night. It's a warm one here on Saturday. Temps were up near 100 degrees today in the Santa Clarita Valley, and down on the field it's probably close to that at this point in time. And the Cougars obviously heating it up out on the field with 2 touchdowns in their first 2 drives of the ball game.
Yeah, back-to-back weekends with that hot weather, and that's what you can expect here up in Santa Clarita. So Cougars should be accustomed to it. I don't think you ever get fully used to it. Could be a factor later in the game, but Cougars not showing any signs yet.
Edelman and Hudson back to receive on the kickoff, and Edelman will just let it go as it's 8 yards deep into the end zone from Brown. And we'll get our second look at the Grossmont offense here. So we'll go 1st and 10 from the 25 here from Grossmont. Their last drive was a difficult one as an interception, the result. As they set back up here as Harris Legree under center will try and roll a Cougar in the backfield trying to wrap him up, and they get him down. Benjamin Seymour on the tackle. He was in the backfield before Sharif Harris Legree even had the chance to kind of turn around and get ready to go.
And Ben Seymour picking up right where he left off last week, had a couple big plays on the defensive front. And, hey, we had some fireworks from the offense already. It looks like the defense is ready to go out there.
First sack of the year for Seymour. It backs up Saddleback. Grossmont. They only lost a yard. As Legree did a good job to get back to the line of scrimmage. As he's back under center with 2 backs in the backfield. He'll fake on play action. Cougars in the backfield with him again. He has to scramble, gets across the line of scrimmage and out to the 26, maybe 27-yard line, depending on the mark. Actually, he gets a really good spot, gets to the 28.
Looked like Caleb Johns had a chance to bring him down, so Grossmont able to salvage something out of that, but Cougars are still on the prowl.
Remember, the Cougars last week had a pretty awful start to the week against Grossmont. Lost 45-20. They really didn't have any good defensive stands for the most part against the Saddleback Gauchos, but this week the defense showing up so far. It's 3rd and long here for the Grossmont Griffins. 7:10 to go here in the first. 14-0 Cougars. Harris Legree back to pass, looking to his left. Pass over the middle, caught in space by Steen across midfield, and he's tackled there on a good job to step up and make sure he couldn't pick up any more yards. It was Aaron Pitts on the tackle, the safety, and there's a flag on the play.
Pretty sure that's going to be a late hit on Tyler Richardson. He came blazing right at that quarterback, and refs maybe thought it was a little late.
And that is indeed what the call is, a roughing the passer penalty, so it gives them 15 extra. It puts Grossmont at the 35-yard line of the Cougars.
Well, Richardson's certainly going to hear about that one when they break down film, but that's a kid last week that had 8 stops, forced 2 fumbles, recovered another one, so, you know, you're going to make that mistake, make it 100 miles per hour, and that's exactly what he did.
Harris Legree under center here on 1st and 10. He'll hand the ball off to Burnett, and he doesn't have anywhere to go, wrapped up behind the line, a trio of Cougars there, and it'll bring 2nd and 12.
Like to see Ryan Haith up there making that play from the safety position. Looked like they walked him up a little bit, and boom, he was right there waiting for it.
Jack Schultz looked like he was in on it as well. A couple of Cougars, I think 3 blue jerseys had surrounded Burnett, who is a tough running back. He's very good on the inside, can kind of slash around. So it's good to see from a Cougar defense on the run game on the inside, especially with that 3-man front.
Yeah, that's definitely not a guy you want to see open in space. He can make some moves, hit the Cougars for a couple big-time runs last season, and a year of experience under his belt now coming into this one.
As Sharif Harris Legree stays under center here, changes the play at the line of scrimmage. Option run, will pitch out to Burnett, tries to cut it back, and again hit by a trio of Cougars. Julian Salazar with the biggest hit on him, knocks him down back at the line of scrimmage. It'll bring 3rd and 12.
And, Matt, if we look at this, again, another point of emphasis was the assignment reads for the defense. So if you look at this, perfectly played. We had to contain, and like you said, a couple Cougars there to meet the ball carrier. So nice job.
So it'll bring up 3rd and long here.
And this is where Coach Dan Corbett has a little bit of extra freedom to dial up something. You want to get off the field, but you definitely want to inflict your force, so to speak. So always curious to see what Coach Corbett dials up.
Corbett, plenty of experience, his 12th season with the Cougar program as the defensive coordinator. We'll see what he goes here as Harris Legree in the shotgun. Burnett the lone back. He'll step back to pass. Cougars trying to get the edge. Now they've flushed him out of the pocket. He wants to throw downfield. Near side pass is broken up. Good job on a diving play by Matthew Ballantyne. Knocked it down, and it'll bring up a 4th and 12 situation here for the Griffins.
Well, just enough. You had the quarterback scurrying around, and he made a heck of a throw to try and complete that pass. Just wasn't there. Kudos to the Cougar defense bringing the heat.
And that's something we didn't see out of the secondary last week either, that good extra pressure on a pass play. And it's a young secondary for the Cougars, the youngest portion of that defense. But maybe a little more, their sea legs back at them a little bit more
absolutely.
this week.
I think you get that first game under your belt. We talked a little bit about it last week. In the first week, a little bit of jitters. This is a young team, hadn't played on this level necessarily. So good to see that confidence and that better execution here week 2.
So they'll have Browning punt here, and they'll move back 5 yards as the Griffins take the delay of game, gives Browning a little bit extra room to get the ball down near the goal line. As it's Elliott and Amari Smith standing right about the 10-yard line for the Cougars waiting to receive here.
And we've already seen Elliott make some moves on special teams, so hopefully he'll get another crack at it here.
Browning gets it off in time. They'll kick it to Elliott, who will call for the fair catch, but it bounces inside the 10-yard line and rolls into the end zone. So a touchback, and the Cougars will take over.
And again, you like to see that pressure on special teams. Toby Hill's there running outstretched hands, almost got to it. We'll see if he can get a little bit closer next time.
So the Cougars will take over at the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 here. And we'll see who they decide to send back out at quarterback, and it'll be Armani Eden will stay in there. We might see a little bit of Michael Wilson today, but we will not see Cole Doyle. He is out with an injury, so it's Eden's game right now, as he's looked good so far. With 4:53, the Cougars already with 2 touchdowns on the board. He'll throw here on play action, 1st down. Finds Amari Smith, dances around at the 25, and is pushed out right at the 25-yard line. A 5-yard pickup, and the Cougars ahead of schedule.
Again, another positive play. Eden started out hot. Why change what's working? Let the young man go out there, build upon what he's already done. And, again, like I said, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but let's continue to establish that run game, which is going to be a key factor throughout the contest.
It's a new back in there for the Cougars. Looks like it's Moises Haynes, and it is Moises Haynes. They go on play action. Eden will roll to his right, throws over the middle, pass caught by the tight end Randy Clemens, and he's got enough for a 1st down up to the 36-yard line of the Griffins.
And again, Eden all sorts of time on that rollout package. It doesn't even look – kind of looks like he's running in slow motion. Having the chance to make his progressions, make the reads, and connecting. That's another 1st down.
Very smooth from Eden so far. He's looked very good. He'll stay on 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line in the shotgun. Haynes stays in there. They will hand off to Moises Haynes. He tries to get the corner, gets across the 40, knocked out of bounds at the 41. We'll see where they spot it. But a good run for the Valencia High School product. His 1st of the day.
Good run, and Thomas LeBoucher leading the pack there with the pull block. Great job getting her out and around, clearing that space.
So the Cougars pick up a good chunk of yards here on 1st down. They get 5, so again ahead of schedule with 5 yards to go on 2nd down. Ball at the 41-yard line. Eden will stay in the shotgun. Haynes will stay in there. He tries to direct traffic to get Clemens in the right spot. The tight end actually lining up as more of an inside slot receiver this time. As the play clock down to 8. Eden drops back, just a short 3-step drop. Will step up in the pocket, wants a big one, throws downfield on the near side, caught. Romello Cook, a big play for the Cougars, and they are in the red zone once again.
Now this is back-to-back weeks that Romello Cook has made some big-time grabs down the field. Of course, you remember last week the outstretched hands right in front of the end zone. 2 plays later, he actually got the touchdown. So, again, good to see him picking up right where he left off. Perfect execution on the offensive line. All sorts of time for Eden. Makes it easy for him to find his man down the field.
And a beautiful job by the quarterback to step up. It's a 42-yard strike. It'll put the Cougars in the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line of Grossmont. Last week, the Cougars were 50% in the red zone. They scored touchdowns 50% of the time and scored 50% of the time when they actually got in there. So far today, they've been good 2 for 2. As Eden, little trickery, will swing it on the inside to Cook, and it was nearly picked off as Corey Beebe was able to get a hand on it, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. So a little trickery there from Ted Iacenda and the Cougars.
And a little bit of deja vu. I mean, again, you go right back to Cook after the big play. Cook out of Columbia, South Carolina. I know he's got some folks out there watching this week, so let's see if he can't get in the end zone again here.
As Terrell Stanley, the tight end, will check in as they bring Amari Smith off. Haynes stays in there as the running back. Elliott on the far side, the lone receiver, and Cook, the other receiver on the near side, is a 2 tight end package here for COC. Eden walks up to the line, changes the play with 6 on the play clock. Direct snap was low. They'll hand off. Haynes tries to cut it back, and he's met by a couple of Griffins and gets back to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up 3rd and long here for COC.
Well, unfortunate there with the low snap. I kind of saw what they were thinking and where the hole was going to be. Moises Haynes just didn't have a chance to get there with that slight delay, but no fault on him. Cougars still in business here. 3rd and 10 coming up.
They go with Haynes as the lone back here. 4 receivers set for COC as they take the tight ends out. Eden will check back to the sidelines. Waits for the change in the play call. So Cougars eating up a lot of clock here right now. 10 to go on the play clock. Eden still calling out to the line, barking out orders. He's got to get this one off. Gets it off with 2. Will throw. Has Henderson caught at the 15. Breaks 1 tackle. Spins inside the 10. Trying to drive his way inside the 6-yard line, and he might have got to the number. We'll wait and see.
It's going to be close, Matt.
And the head official says 1st down. He makes the signal. It will wind the clock, and the Cougars on 1st and goal now. And they can drop the chains.
Well, now, wait a minute.
Wait, he signaled 1st down, and so it is 4th down here. So they're going to kick a field goal. He pointed 1st down.
He certainly did. And threw us off here in the booth. But again, we talked about it last week. This is an easy decision to make. Tanner Brown, All-American.
Easy shot for him. He knocks it in from right at the 7-yard line, just a 17-yard field goal. And he is perfect on the year. Now 3 for 3, and the Cougars with a 17-0 lead.
Well, I venture to say Tanner Brown could make that one in his sleep, but either way, it's great to see an execution. Cougars up 17-0, and this first quarter is blown by, ladies and gentlemen. I know we got on a little bit late, but Cougars not wasting any time jumping all over this Griffin team.
Don't forget, plenty of more Cougar action coming up here on SoCalCollegeSports.com and the Cougar Football Network. We're off for next week, but the week after that, on September 28th, our homecoming celebration, 50th anniversary of College of the Canyons. All fans who want to come to the game are admitted in free. We'll have Chuck Lyon in the booth with us for a little while. There's going to be some food, some celebrations, some activities. It'll be a really good time. So if you can make it out to the game, great. If you can't, come watch us here on SoCalCollegeSports.com and the Cougar Football Network. Excellent.
It's going to be a great time. Festivities are going to start at 4 p.m., kickoff at 6. So come on down, ladies and gentlemen.
So Brown will kick it away here. 17-0 Cougars, just about as perfect of a first quarter as you could ask for after a tough week one. As Brown will kick this one away, and it'll be picked up at about the 5-yard line by Adelman. He'll try and run it to the middle. Cougars trying to find a way to wrap him up, and they will at the 20-yard line. There's a flag on the field thrown by the back official. That's got to be in the area of an illegal block, so we'll wait and see on what the penalty is. But it may very well back the Griffins up.
And again, Cougars swarming to the ball on special teams and on defense. I believe that was Giancarlo Tarifa that actually finished off the play. But if you look at the replay, 3, 4, 5, 6 Cougars there. So, again, swarming to the ball, excited to be out there and looking, again, to show that last week was a fluke. They cleaned up some of the things, some of the mistakes, both mental and execution-wise, and here we are off and running.
Penalty is indeed a block in the back, so the Griffins will back up to their own 10-yard line here. Terrible field position. They'll have to go 90 yards to try and get points on the board as they trail 17-0. So far, the Cougars have been very efficient on offense. Have really only used 6, maybe 7 minutes of clock time and have scored 3 times down the field on 3 drives. As Harris Legree will throw on first down. Pass caught by Perry Steele. He picks up a nice chunk, gets about 6, and the Griffins are ahead of schedule here on second down.
You know what I like right there, Matt, was Chase Edwards-Morgan right there making the big hit, was able to wrap him up. You saw a few times last week when the Cougars were there, they had the guy in their sights, they had him wrapped up, but Coach Eisen will tell you a poor job at tackling last week, and that allowed for a lot of those Gaucho big runs and big plays down the field.
It's definitely one of the things he emphasized going into this week on the defensive side of the football, making the tackles when you have the chance. They'll run here on second down. Burnett will slash his way up into the 25-yard line, and it'll be a first down for Grossmont. Good little run for Jarius Burnett.
And that's what Burnett can do. Like I said, he can get the hard yards. He can bounce it out outside. He's got the speed. So a good runner for the Griffins, someone they're obviously going to look to throughout. First down, Cougars are going to have to do better than that.
Had 82 yards last week on 19 carries, just 3 attempts so far today. And that'll end the first quarter, but the Cougars with a 17-0 lead, just about as good of a start as you could ask for there, Jesse. 3 drives, 3 scores.
Yeah, quick start. The first quarter just flew by. I'm sure for the players on the field too. I mean, when you're having that much success, it's fun. It's fun being out there. You get excited for yourself, for your teammates, for this program, and you can tell a little bit of a subdued crowd thus far.
Well, I think they're nervous a little bit
still.
After last week. You don't know what you don't want to get too excited too early here, I guess.
But I started to say this is the way to bring them into it. You get some fireworks early, you hold off the other team, and just keep doing what you're doing.
So we'll flip the field. The Cougars stay on defense here as the Griffins will have the ball at the 25-yard line on their own end of the field. It's their 3rd drive of the day. So far they've thrown an interception and punted.
Yeah, I think for the Griffins, what you're trying to do here is, the score, obviously you're down, you're playing from behind. You don't want to let things get out of hand, but I think before that, you try to sustain a drive. You try and get a couple more of those first downs, extend things a little bit, let your offense, start to gel together and see if you can make progress against this Cougar D.
Harris Legree will throw here on first down. Cougars in the backfield with him again, and he just throws it away and throws it out of play. Was looking on the near side towards Jarius Burnett, the running back, out of the backfield, but it was about 5 feet over his head.
Yeah, well, he did a good job just to get rid of it. Julian Salazar and Sterling Cooper on the pressure there. That's going to be tough for anybody.
Second time we've heard Salazar's name called here early on. He's putting a lot of pressure, the product out of Hart High School. Had a tackle last week, but didn't really see a lot of field time, getting extra playing time here today. So we'll stay on 2nd and 10 from the 25-yard line. Griffins slow to get to the line. Just 10 to go on the play clock here. Harris Legree is under center. One back in the backfield. He'll throw here, and he's hit as he throws. And again, another Cougar in the backfield before he even had a chance. And again, it's Julian Salazar.
We just said it, and there he was again. In there making plays. Matt, a part of that new rotation or, a couple extra guys out there on the field, Arian Peebles out tonight.
Yep.
A loss for the Cougars, definitely. He's a very versatile guy, can do a lot of things out there. But, I think the attitude is next man up. Obviously, we miss Arian. Wish him well, want him back as soon as possible. But it's giving these other guys, some of these younger guys, a good opportunity to get out there, get snaps, and make their mark.
Let's put some extra pressure on Jack Schultz, Sterling Cooper, Benjamin Seymour to have an effect up front. But it also puts pressure on that linebacker core, and so far Salazar stepped up nicely. He, Johns, and Thomas have been the ones out there on this drive as it's 3rd and 10. Two backs in the backfield is Harris Legree in the shotgun, and he runs out of time. The play clock is down to 0. Delay of game the second time they've been hit with a delay of game penalty, so it'll bring up 3rd and 15 here for the Griffins.
And, Matt, just kind of looking back, last year, obviously a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. A lot of guys on defense that rotated in and out, made plays. We talked about it a little bit last year. There wasn't necessarily that one guy. I mean, Tariq Spates was definitely the leader, the defensive player of the year. But you couldn't say, the defense is Tariq and nobody else. I mean, there was always guys coming, flying around. And you're starting to see that here week 2 for the Cougars.
And it's good. It's almost nice to have, even though you want Arian Peoples in the lineup, it's almost a good week to have him hurt and have these guys try and step up as they throw here on 3rd and 15. Pass defended, but a pass interference call going to be made against Chase Edwards Morgan. And you can't really fault the referees for that one.
No. Morgan's may argue a little bit, but I think when he goes back and looks at that tape, he was there. He was just there a little bit too early, and that's going to bring a flag just about every time.
It was almost a situation where the ball was thrown up in the air so high that if he had looked for the ball, he might have been able to make an interception, as Malik Steen was kind of just standing there waiting for it, and Edwards Morgan just kind of ran into him and ran him out of bounds. So a tough play on the Cougars. They had him pinned deep, and instead the ball moves to the 35-yard line. New set of downs here for the Griffins as Harris Legree is under center. Two backs in there and a power I. They'll run it here on first down. And Jared Edelman trying to gain some yards. Only gets about 4, so it'll bring up 2nd down and about 6.
And with your Grossmont, I mean, you're not getting a lot of yardage, but you're doing what we talked about, which is sustaining the drive. Whether it be by penalty or, moving the sticks the traditional way. That's what you want to do. Try and tire out this Cougar defense. Try and get something established for yourself, and don't let this thing get out of hand.
Well, it's something from the Cougar side we saw last week. They were on the field a lot, had to run a lot of plays against a Saddleback team, and gave up 561 yards trying to limit that from the COC side. And if you're Grossmont, you watch that tape and say, we got to get them to make plays. As they throw here on 2nd down, pass is caught on the inside by Dominic Hudson, and he's able to work it across the 50-yard line to the Cougar 48, and another Grossmont first down.
A lot of Cougars in the area, but the quarterback was able to rifle it in there, make something happen, found the opening and took it.
Harris Legree so far, 63 yards as they go here again, and they quickly go to Perry Steele, and he's hit at the line of scrimmage, and a late flag comes in, very late flag. So we'll see what the penalty call is. Steele was hit hard by one of the Cougar defenders down near the legs. I don't know if there was some words afterwards or if a penalty is going to be coming against COC here.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like a good hard hit there. Maybe the low, the way the Cougars met him there, he might have high-lowed him there, and that might have been the flag.
The referees came over to check with Ted.
Yeah.
So he's going to push him back. So it's a penalty against Grossmont. It's a chop block.
15-yard penalty.
So it's a 15-yard penalty, and it'll move the Griffins back onto their own side of the field here, and it brings up first and a long, long way to go, 25, as the play is wiped out. Legree so far 6 for 10 for 63 yards. Burnett 4 attempts, 16 yards on the ground. Steen the best receiver for Grossmont, 3 receptions for 36, but that's been about all the offense.
Well, that'll definitely sustain the drive in terms of time of possession, but not what the Griffins are looking for. Going the wrong way on that one.
So it'll bring up first and 25. 13-15 on the game clock here. Harris Legree will throw. He's met in the backfield, steps up, gets around one. Thomas, though, able to wrap him up and get him down right back at the line of scrimmage. So no gain. Good job by Jonathan Thomas after Caleb Johns missed the initial tackle.
And again, a big second and long. This is where Coach Corbett has that freedom to try and dial something up. Maybe look for some heat off the edge, something to just, push these Griffins back a little bit farther. At the same time, you don't want to give up anything over the middle. You want to eliminate that big play. Get off the field here. Let your offense go back to work.
So far, Haith and Lewis with 2 tackles apiece for the Cougars defensively, and then a whole mess of other Cougars with 1 tackle on the day. As we go on 2nd and 25, they show pressure. They'll bring it here. Legree tries to dump it off. Burnett, a one-handed catch at about the 40-yard line. Cuts it through the middle, across the 50, inside the 40, and he is going to go all the way in for a Griffin touchdown. No Cougar going to get him, and there was that tackling, those miscues by the Cougar defense.
Yeah, we talked about it. Again, this is a young man that can hurt you. He can hurt you when he gets in space, and Cougars didn't do anything to help themselves there. Now, I did see the defensive linemen look like they read the screen and kind of stopped their pursuit. It was just too late, and you give a guy like that an opening, and he's gone. Touchdown, Griffins.
So Burnett, his first receiving touchdown of the year. Last week he had 2 receptions for 7 yards. This time he breaks off a big one, a 63-yarder, and the Griffins on the board for the first time today. As in to try the point after is Jack Browning. So it's an 8-play, 90-yard drive for the Griffins. They took 3 minutes and 47 seconds off the clock. As Browning will put up the try, and it is good. So it's a 17-7 lead, 10-point lead for the Cougars here. As Browning stays perfect on the point after touches this year, and we're going to look at the COC offense once again. So we talk about defensive miscues, tackling being a focus for Ted Iacenda. He's not going to like that one when he sees the film back.
No, they'll hear about that. And, for Grossmont, that's exactly what you wanted. You couldn't have asked for anything better. You're backed up, 90 yards. You look at that coming out, and, oh, God, we got our work cut out for us. A couple penalties both sides, but they were able to finally hit the big play. So nothing lost for them. For Canyons, you try and regroup. You send the offense back out there, and, there wasn't a sense of urgency before. I don't see why that would change now. Go out there, do what you do, continue to execute. Let the defense rest a little bit, and we got a long way to go here, Matt.
Absolutely a long way to go, as we're just 12-12 to go in the second quarter. 10-point lead for the Cougars. We'll get our second look today at the Cougars kick return team. Demaje Williams nearly ran one back for a touchdown before we actually got on the air. As he'll get another look at it here from about 3 yards deep in the end zone, he'll bring it out. Crosses the 10, now tries to cut it back to the 20, runs into a couple of Griffins trying to fight off tackles, and he'll be drug out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So nearly broke it again, had some room, but just couldn't find that extra hole.
Yeah, I saw where he was looking, but like you said, just collapsed on him a little bit. A little bit of jawing here on the sideline. Officials are quick to get in there and break that up.
Yeah, one of the Griffins on the Cougar sideline, and the Cougar offensive huddle was moving out there.
Yeah.
That's just, it's never a good spot. And there's a flag on the field at right about the 25-yard line on the far side of the field. We'll see what the penalty is, but I think the Cougars might be getting backed up once again.
Yeah, Coach Iacenda doesn't look happy down there, kind of looking for an explanation. And here it comes.
Personal foul. I'm a kicking team. Number 37, 15 yards.
And actually that helps the Cougars, a personal foul on the Griffins here.
Well, regardless, he was unhappy. It looks like he was unhappy about the hit, not necessarily the penalty. So Cougars will take it, go out back to work. Eden and company.
Dane Filko gets the call against him. So the Cougars will get a good start here on field position. They'll start at the 37-yard line of Grossmont with their own 37-yard line with 12:02 to go. And we get to see Eden once again. He's been very efficient so far today. 7 of 10, 151 yards. Dunn's had a better start, 4 carries for 33 yards. And Henderson's been the biggest earner on the receiving side, 3 receptions for 65.
And Dunn back out there again to start this series. We saw Moises Haynes last time out. So 2-back approach so far. Let's see what happens.
2 tight ends in there again for the Cougars, so they'll run. Dunn breaks 1 tackle across the 45, breaks midfield and tackled at about the 46-yard line of the Griffins. Good run for Caden Dunn as he slashes up the middle and breaks 1 tackle.
And great job keeping his feet moving. Looked like he might have almost been tripped up, but kept his head up, kept his feet moving, was able to bounce it out a little bit, and like you said, a nice, strong first down run.
So a good start on this drive for the Cougars as they've crossed midfield at the 47-yard line of the Griffins. Down in the backfield straight behind Eden. They'll fake the handoff, play action. Eden going to have to scramble. He's going to tuck it and run across the 40-yard line. And we'll just scamper out of bounds at about the 35. And that's where we'll mark it, but it's good enough for a Cougar first down.
And a smart play not to try and make too much out of that. He got the first down. He didn't have to take the hit, and that's exactly what you want. It's a young quarterback out there. Again, building blocks. Little things become big things. You continue to instill that confidence. Hey, now he knows he can take off and run if he needs to.
Looks like the Cougars are going to go with an empty back set here as they send a couple of extra bodies onto the field in the receiving spot. They've got Smith out there. He's in kind of a slot position. Elijah Eby out there as well. Now they actually bring Clemens over. They got to get going here. Just 5 to go on the play clock. Eden waiting, and the Cougars are going to call a timeout. Too long to get organized there from COC.
Yeah, it looked like a little bit of confusion. Maybe a new package they brought in this year. Definitely not something they've run too much.
Something we've seen.
Yeah, but you saw some guys looking to the sidelines like, hey, is this where I'm supposed to be? This is where I'm going to be? So, again, no sense of urgency here. You have the lead. Put that one in your back pocket. Let's talk about it. Get lined up how we need to. Go out and try it again.
Absolutely. Looked like something brand new, something we'd never seen. Clemens in kind of a slot position, maybe as a main blocker for Amari Smith, trying to get him the ball in space, which was something we didn't see a lot of last week. And it's one of my notes as well. Henderson and Smith need to be able to get the ball in space to create opportunities.
Well, you have this much talent. You know, you want to go out and you want to throw different formations out there. You want to see different guys have an opportunity to get the ball, run routes, even if you don't necessarily connect with them, just to see what the defense is going to give you, how they're going to adjust. The first quarter and first half, really, a lot of it's feeling out. Well, okay, what's the other team going to do? Have they seen this? Are they prepared for that? And I think that was one of those things. Let's throw something out there, see how they react. If we didn't like it, hey, take a timeout, nothing lost.
Well, I like it. It's something we really didn't see last week. We didn't see any of that creativity that we know Ted Isenda has in his back pocket. Yeah. We're kind of seeing a little bit more of it this week, some more play action so far, and they're going to go with that set. So we look at it here. 3 receivers on the near side, Eden in kind of the slot. Clemens, the tight end, out wide, along with Trey Longstreth as they send one in motion. Eden going to have to move. He's going to dump it off. Caught by Eby, but well behind the line of scrimmage. Good job to step up and make the play by Tavarius Ward. And it'll bring up second down and long. So that package maybe going to be something they'll go back to the drawing board with.
Yeah, and tough break. I mean, as a receiver, you always want to haul that one in. Might have been better served to just bat it down. You take the loss there. But like you said, Matt, that's something maybe you go back to. If it's not there this game, you tweak it and you come back to it, in a future contest.
So they go 3 receivers on the near side. Eden in the backfield. Dunn back there with him. Will throw here on second and long. Wanted to throw. Now will tuck it. Now throws downfield. Has Henderson, but it's a jump ball picked off. Picked off by the Griffins. Jaden Tenu able to pick it off, and he brings it all the way back up to the Griffin 35-yard line.
Well, Eden mad at himself on that one. And, reason to be. he was trying to make something out of nothing there, scampered around a little bit, looked a little Brito-esque as far as being shifty enough to make that throw. Love the gunslinger mentality, but again, that's one, you don't need to force the issue right now. That's one, better serve, keep it in your back pocket, and, play for the next down.
Yeah, his first real mistake of the day.
Yeah.
So the Griffins get a big turnover. Each team now with an interception on the day for Tenu, his, I believe, first of the year.
And what you really hope is that doesn't shake his confidence. I mean, such a hot start. Showed some flashes last week. So, again, coming back to that, having a lot of success early on. Hey, shake that one off. We're okay. 17-7. Look to the defense to give you a boost here.
So we look at the Griffins again, who put points on the board with 9:56. They stay in the shotgun here with Harris Legree. He wants a big one downfield over the middle. Pass picked off by the Cougars. Chase Edwards Morgan steps right up and takes it away from the receiver, and a big turnover for COC.
Well, and I think he heard me. Look to your defense to give you that boost, and that's exactly what Chase Edwards Morgan did. Again, another center fielder out there kind of roaming around, was able to pick that one out of the air, and we're turning it around the other way. Nice play for the Cougars.
Second interception today against Harris Legree, and it's the first of the season for Chase Edwards Morgan, and a beautiful play, too, when you looked at it. Kind of was behind the defender, the receiver, Malik Steen, was well ahead of him, and he just kind of caught back up, waited for the jump ball, and took it away.
And we talked about it a little bit last week, and then things kind of, went in an opposite direction for the Cougars. But the fact that you look to your defense to make those big plays to give you that boost, and there it was. Nice job.
On first down now, the Cougars will run. Dunn slashes up the middle across the 40. He's tackled from behind, but enough for a Cougar first down as he gets to the 42 on the COC side of the field.
Caden Dunn running hard tonight, and that's exciting to see. This was a young man that worked his tail off during the offseason, came in pumped up to make a contribution to this program, and that's exactly what he's doing here.
Another really good run from Dunn as he stays in the backfield here on 1st and 10 from the 42. They'll throw here on play action. Pass was low. The Cougars going to lose 2 yards here, as no choice for Alonzo Henderson, but pretty much just to fall to the ground and make sure he caught it.
Yeah, and Ed knows. I saw him. He's a kid that looks like he's being hard on himself out there because he knows he's better than that. He knows that's just a slight adjustment. Get that pass up, and you got something positive.
Well, that's one of those plays, too. We talked about trying to get Henderson and Smith the ball in space. Yeah. That's the perfect opportunity right there.
And I think that's why he's mad at himself. He knows he had a shot there.
Play action here. He'll throw it to Henderson in space. He caught it at about the 42, broke one tackle, and gets, we'll see, to the 44, I think maybe the spot. The spot looks a little bit back there, so he might have got back to the original line of scrimmage. And they'll put him at the 43, so he gained a yard, so it'll bring up third down and 9.
Yeah, tough guy to bring down, someone on the smaller side a little bit, but shifty, like you said, quick. Griffins just closed in around him there. There wasn't any space.
Cougars will check the sideline here. Is clock at 8:30 in the second quarter, 17-7 in favor of COC. They scored on their first 3 drives. Their last drive resulted in an interception, but they got it right back on the next play, so Eden right back out there, trying to shake it off. We'll throw here on 3rd and 9. Steps up, throws over the middle, pass, dropped. Clemens had it, hit him right in the chest, and he dropped it.
Well, that's one he's got to bring in, especially when you're that wide open there. Nice throw. The throw is there. Great protection. Number 66, Kadeem Dioff out of Elkton, Maryland. Excellent protection there. Had his guy just locked up, and that gives Eden the time to make those reads. It was there. They'll have to come back to it.
And that's the play you expect Clemens to catch. That's why he's in there as a big tight end that has good hands, and it kind of just caught him in the stomach, and he wasn't able to hold on to it. So we'll get our first look at Tanner Brown punting today. Last week, 6 punts. He was pretty good, averaged 44.8 yards. His longest was 64. He'll try and pin the Griffins back deep. High punt, wobbling towards the sideline, and it'll go out of bounds right about the 30-yard line. We'll maybe say the 35. We'll see where they spot it. Waiting for the official to get all the way up, and he marks it right at the 35. So a tough one maybe off the outside of the foot for Brown. I'm sure he'll go back to the sidelines and work on that. So the Cougars stall out for the first time today, and the Griffins will take over here with 8:05 on the second quarter game clock.
So a lot of time. Again, you're the Griffins. You had some success the last time around. I think you look for more of that. Definitely going to try and get the ball into Burnett's hands again. Maybe, open it up, try and take a shot downfield before this half ends. For the Cougars, you're looking to limit those big plays, play penalty penalty-free football and try and get off the field once again.
So get to work is the referee back out. He was talking to the Grossmont sideline and has finished the conversation. So Grossmont will go back to work. Sharif Harris-Legree back under center. He'll hand off here on first down. Burnett met by one, got away, and then tackled by a couple of Cougars. He's thrown ahead, though, and he gets 6 yards on the play. He was initially met by Caleb Johnson. The backfield just bounced right off the tackle and was able to fight ahead for 3 extra yards.
Well, John's there first, wasn't able to make the stop, but what you like to see is the rest of the team kind of rallying around and flying to the ball there. First guy doesn't get you, chances are the second or third will, and that's exactly what the Cougars did there.
I want to say it was Bradley Brown who came back to make the tackle initially, as the Cougars with a 4-man front here. Harris-Legree under center will throw here on second down, has a man wide open in the middle of the field, caught at about the 50, and he's knocked down at about the 48 of the Cougars. I believe it was Cedric Allen actually scratched that. It was Amari Colbert on the catch.
Cougars definitely looking run there, and then all of a sudden you see that receiver in the middle just kind of opened up. So good job executing, finding the open man. First down for the Griffins.
As they work on the Cougar 48. 7:05 to go here in the second quarter. Trailing by 10 as COC scored on their first 3 drives. And Grossmont able to get one on their second to last drive. On a big play off of a broken play that Jarius Burnett ended up taking big 63 yards for a touchdown. As he slashes one up the middle, gets across the 40 to the 35 as he broke about 3 Cougar tackles and is brought down at the 34-yard line of the COC Cougars.
Again, just a hard runner, kept his feet moving, right up the gut, and then a quick juke or adjustment, and off he went. That's something they will continue to come back to. I can guarantee it.
So Burnett remains the main force so far as he picks up a good chunk of yardage here and brings up a new set of downs on the 34 of COC. Harris-Legree under center will throw. 3-step drop. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, will scramble to the near side and pushed out of bounds. Good job in pursuit by Benjamin Seymour.
Yeah, way to hold contained. He wasn't able to get to him, but again, he limited that big play, took away the sideline, pushed him out. That's a nice job.
So mark it a loss of 4, maybe 5. It pushes it all the way back to the 39-yard line. Mark it a loss of 5 exactly. And I'll bring up second down and 15 here.
So again, it's a situation here and a placement on the field where the Cougars might try and force the issue, bring a little bit of pressure. Griffins with a long 2nd and 15. And again, you got your center fielders out there roaming around. Maybe you pick another one out of the air and turn it around here.
Burnett in the backfield along with Edelman. And again, the Griffins taking way too long. This time they get a timeout before they're backed up even further. Their first charge timed out. And with 5:39, the clock will stop, and we'll talk about this second down and 15 play here.
Yeah, we continue to say not a sense of urgency for the Cougars. If you're the Griffins, maybe a little bit. You're definitely going to want to try and get in the end zone here. At least take the 3 to make it a 1-possession game. So you'd like to see them clean up a little bit if you're a Griffins fan. For the Cougars, hey, you regroup a little bit, get some water, see what Coach Corbett wants to do here, and then go out and try and execute.
Well, and a different wrinkle, too, from Coach Corbett today is they've been dialing back and forward between a 3-man front and a 4-man front.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think when you're dealing with a running back like Burnett, guys, real quick, we want to talk about your chance to support Canyons football. If you'd like to make a donation to the program, things that will help us out with equipment, transportation costs, and a whole lot of other things. Visit cocathletics.com/sports/football. Click the Donate Now button. And, folks, don't forget, September the 28th, week 4 against Cerritos College, our 50th anniversary homecoming celebration. Festivities kick off at 4 p.m. We've got food, we've got music, we've got family-friendly activities, so come on down. Game kicks off at 6 p.m. Free admission to everybody.
I was going to say the best part, free admission.
Best part. Hope to see you in the stands.
And if not, join us here on SoCalCollegeSports.com and the Cougar Football Network. We'll be glad to bring it to you, as we will have that one. As we go here on 2nd and 15 from the 39-yard line. Harris-Legree will throw short. Good job stepping up by Jock Vukobratovic as he takes down the receiver. As once again, Amari Colbert there to make the catch, but he might have got back to the original line of scrimmage, actually 2 yards short of it.
And great job, perfect timing, hitting him right when the ball got there, wrapping up and taking him down. Now that's a type of play. You miss that tackle, that creates some danger. That gives the Griffins a chance to get up to the sideline and maybe find the end zone. So good job by Jacques.
It'll bring up 3rd and long here from the 36 of COC. Clock ticking at 5:05. Griffins slow to get to the line again. Now they're trying to still get organized at the line. The center looks a little confused as they'll go with the 2-back set. Edelman, the fullback, standing right next to Harris Legree. He'll throw here. Extra protection in. Wants to throw to the end zone. Pass over the head of the intended target. Was trying to find Dominic Hudson, but just a little too long for him, and it'll bring up 4th and 12.
Well, when you look there, you notice Chase Edwards Morgan in coverage. He's already picked one out. So if you're Grossmont, Sharif, Legree, you're airing that. You're putting a little something extra on that one, and I think that's why you saw the overthrow. Maybe it was there, but put a little too much on it, and that's by virtue of the coverage we saw earlier in this game.
Morgan maybe got away with a little bit of a tug on the right arm as they were hand fighting for it, but no call, and we continue on. So the Griffins will punt again as Jack Browning standing right about the 49-yard line. 2 Cougars standing back at the 10. It's once again Smith and Elliott, both very dangerous. The kick is up and away. Smith calls the fair catch, lets it bounce, and it takes a Cougar bounce, and it's going to be downed at the 16-yard line, and that's where the Cougars will take over. 1st and 10 with 4:37 on the second quarter game clock.
Well, I think Eden and company are raring to go. You get another shot at it, maybe 2 more possessions depending on how this half plays out. But definitely looking for more points. Put the pressure on Grossmont. This is a long way from over. 10 points is nothing in a game like this. 2 talented programs with some playmakers on both sides. So, again, continue to build the positives, continue to move down the field, and see what happens.
So Cougars will go back to work from the 17-yard line is where they spot it. Eden in the shotgun. Haynes back in there as the back. 3 receivers to the near side. Eden will quickly swing it out to Henderson. Henderson looking for blockers. Has them. Cuts it across the 35. Has some room to run. Breaks a tackle. And tackled right about the 40-yard line is coming back to take him down. Was one of the big Griffins linebackers, but a good play for Alonzo Henderson.
A nice run. We keep talking about trying to get him in space. Didn't look like a lot of space there, but he just juked and jagged and made his way. There you see him coming down, finally gets taken down, but a big play. So showing he can do it in space or with a lot of people in his surroundings.
Therese Patane was in on the tackle as the Cougars take their time here on 1st and 10 from the 43. Good chunk of yardage on their first play of this drive. Eden in the shotgun again. Will throw here. Throws short. Caught by Clemens. Steps around 1 and is knocked down at about the 49-yard line. But the Cougars ahead of schedule. It'll bring up 2nd down at about 5.
And that's what you want to do. You set up those 2nd and shorts. That's a nice play. You get them you get him a catch. He dropped one a little bit earlier, so now, again, you instill that confidence. 2nd and 5 is a lot more manageable than 2nd and 10.
So the Cougars check the sideline once again here. At the 49-yard line, we'll actually mark it as like 2nd and 4 as they need to get to about the 47 of Grossmont. 3:20 on the game clock. He'll roll right immediately, does Eden. Now throws short. Pass caught by Cook. Has room to run with blockers in front across the 40. Ball popped out at the 35, but it popped out of bounds. And it'll be a Cougar 1st down as Cook able to use his blockers nicely and pick up a nice big chunk of yardage.
And a great job by Eden looking off the defender. You see he looked to his right, almost had the guys going the other way and then came right back to his left. So big Jordan Palmer out there leading the way, a couple other of those big offensive linemen, and that's what you want. You want your guys, your quick guys with the ball in their hands, and your big guys leading the way.
So it'll bring up 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Good start for the Cougars here on this drive. Eden will fake the handoff, swings it out to the far side. It's Smith in space, cuts back inside the 30 at the numbers, and he's gang tackled by a group of Griffins, but a good chunk there. Another 5-yard pickup, maybe 6. And again, the Cougars ahead of schedule.
Yeah, you'll take it. You'll take those short yards. 5 and 5 is 10. It's the same thing as a 1st and 10 1st down. So keep progressing down the field. Keep showing them different looks. The openings are there. They will reveal themselves. Eden doing a great job taking his time, not forcing the issue, making sure he's got the right play call dialed in, and going out there and making his reads.
So 2nd and about 4 from the 29-yard line. Eden in the shotgun, Haynes in the backfield. He'll hand off. Haynes has a hole, cuts it inside to the 20-yard line, now to the 10, and he fights his way to the 5. A late flag in there, right about the 10-yard line. A good run for Haynes. We'll see where it results, though, as we wait on the play.
Yeah, you're going to see him come out, just break it off to the right. Looks like the defenders kind of bid on the fake, and then there he was. I think that's the strongest run we've seen out of Haynes this season. Now, this is a young man that broke off a couple similar runs up.
And unfortunately, it comes back. It's a hold on Trayvon Elliott.
Well, Moises, I wanted to talk about you, but we know you have that potential. I started to say broke off a couple similar type runs in the scrimmage against Santa Barbara. And this is a young man with a lot of talent. You pair him back there with Caden Dunn and the rest of these Cougar running backs, and you got something going. Good to see the run game getting established here in the early on.
Somehow the play results in a first down. I think it's because it's a spot foul. The foul was at the 15-yard line. It pushes the Cougars back to the 25, but that was the mark they needed for the first down, so they start here on a new set of downs. So, I mean, I guess you take it. It's another little 4-yard pickup for Moises Haynes.
And again, now you got some confidence. You got a big run under his belt. Let's see if they don't go back to him here somewhere on this drive.
Clock ticking under 140 here. Eden will throw here on 1st and 10. Wants the end zone. Looking into the corner pass. Jump ball. And it falls down. I was trying to see where it landed. He was looking for Longstreth down the near side. Almost
I want to say Mari Smith got his hands on it as well.
Had it too.
I guess fortunate that nobody caught it if that was going to be the situation. Of course, you want the Cougars to roll it in, but there it is. Tip ball up in the air, tip again, and then it hits the ground. So maybe dodged a bullet there. Canyons will get another shot at it.
I think it was Derek Sutherland for the Griffins who had his hands on his head after it, like, oh, I should have had that one.
Yeah, that's one they'll look at in tape and want back. But again, I like the play call and I like that area of the end zone. Saw some success there last week, and went back to it.
So they'll throw here on 2nd down. Ed flush from the pocket. He'll tuck it and run. It's hit and lost the ball. He'll scramble back, and I think he got it back at the 30-yard line. Yeah. Little bit lackadaisical with the security on the ball there.
Well, we talked about the confidence and maybe a little bit too much. He's running out there with it. Did his best bear crawl to get back and pounce on it and cover that up, or else that could have been disastrous. But, again, coaches will talk to him. You want to tuck that in. It's not a loaf of bread out there.
Yep.
Tuck it in, protect the ball first and foremost, and then see what you can get offensively.
So the Cougars have backed up a little. It'll bring 3rd and 15 from the 30-yard line. Obviously still in field goal range if you can get it with Tanner Brown, but they want to get more. Eden will throw here on 3rd. Has to get it off. Does. Pass is caught by Longstreth at about the 20-yard line. And then he's tackled way back near the 30, but they'll give him forward progress to the 20, and that'll put the Cougars in a field goal situation here with 5 yards to pick up and a 4th down.
Well, nice job by Longstreth. I'm not sure if that was the design of the route, but it looked like he came back to help Eden out, where some of the other guys were still streaking down. So you take a little bit of it, you get some forward progress, and then we'll see how it shakes out here, but
clock continuing to tick. I think Coach Isenda is going to take the timeout with about 2 left as he wants to kick the field goal late and put points on the board. And he has called the timeout with 2 to go. So that'll give Tanner Brown plenty of time here as the Cougars on the 20-yard line of Grossmont. So it'll be about a 35-yarder. Here for for Brown, who has been good so far this year. 3 for 3 now on the season. He's made a couple of 40-plus yarders this year, and of course today the 17-yarder or the 27-yarder, just a chip shot.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. This kid's definitely got some leg. I think if you're the Cougars, this is the perfect way to end the half. If you can convert here, go into the halftime locker room up 27, well in control. You make whatever adjustments you need to. I don't care what the score is. There's adjustments to be made at halftime, and the Cougars will certainly be on top of that. So let's try and execute here, get off the field, go talk about it, And we got another 30 minutes to play, gentlemen.
So Brown from about the 27. It'll be a 37-yard field goal, and the Griffins will try and ice him a little bit here. And
yeah, let him think about it. Hey.
With a guy like Brown who's very experienced
Sure.
and likely going to kick at the next level, it's one of those you kind of, okay, I mean, it happens.
Yeah, you don't get to save those timeouts, so why not?
Yeah.
You know, send him out there, let him think about it again. Maybe you get in his head, but you know, I'll tell you right now, Tanner Brown's not the kind of guy you can rattle. Guys, coming up at halftime, we're going to have an alumni spotlight. We got some Cougars at the next level, including a look at Marquise Hollywood Brown, College of the Canyons pride of 2016, now with the Baltimore Ravens. Had an explosive debut last week, set an NFL record. And for those of you that might be in the Canton area, check out Marquise's gloves on display in Canton, getting his pro career off to a hot start. So look forward to that at halftime.
Definitely should be fun. Had a Hall of Fame worthy week last week in his first ever professional game for the Ravens.
Absolutely. A bit of a homecoming for Marquise. He went back to Florida, had all sorts of friends and family in the stands.
A good kid, too. Very nice kid. One of the better ones that we've had in the long years here at COC.
Great kid. Had a lot of success, and we wish more for him.
As Brown will line up here on the 37-yarder. Kick is up, and I believe it is good, and it is. So the Cougars get the points on the board. They'll take a 13-point lead into the half, 20-7 in favor of COC. A very good start, Jesse, for the Cougars.
Yeah, you couldn't have really asked for anything else. Maybe you limit a few of those mistakes, but mistakes are going to come regardless of everything else. So again, you go into the halftime locker room, you try and make those adjustments. But great job for Eden and company. Defense is looking strong, and Cougars are in control here.
We'll take a timeout. Don't worry. We'll be back in a few moments. We'll have some words from Coach Ted Iacenda as he spoke with Yvette Sanchez this week. We'll have the alumni report, including an update on Marquise Hollywood Brown. So stick around. Plenty more to come here. Cougars leading 20-7 over Grossmont at halftime. Halftime here at Cougar Stadium. COC leading the Grossmont Griffins 20-7. Matt Robinson, Jesse Munoz here with you. It's a good first half for COC. They scored on their first 3 drives and got points on their last one as time expired. And the defense did a pretty good job as well. Only gave up 7 there, Jesse, as it was a pretty good start. We look at some of the numbers. Armani Eden, 15 for 21, 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception through the air. Caden Dunn on the ground pretty good so far today. 6 carries for 61 yards. It's pretty good for, after last week a bad week, averaging 10.2 per carry. Receiving-wise, Alondel Henderson with 92 yards on 6 receptions and a touchdown. Romello Cook, 2 receptions for 58. Trayvon Elliott, a catch for a touchdown, a 28-yarder. And then Clemens, Smith, Longstreth, and Eby all with receptions as well. Haynes also with a couple of runs, 3 carries for 28 yards. So, really a good start for the COC offense, Jesse.
Yeah, I think the thing that's most exciting to me is the Caden Dunn, getting the running game going. Again, you saw Yvette's interview with Coach Iacinta. That was really a point of emphasis. So to get him off and running opens things up for Eden. Eden building on the success he had last week. So a lot of positives out there for the Cougars.
Defensively not bad for COC. They hold Grossmont to 140 yards through the air, just 38 on the ground, so under 200 yards in that first half. Harris Legree had a decent first half, 9 for 15 through the air, a touchdown and 2 interceptions, but Jarius Burnett really the star for them, a reception for 63 yards and a touchdown, a couple of good runs. He's only picked up 36 yards on the ground, but still very dangerous, and the Cougars have done a good job defensively keying on him.
Yeah, we kind of knew coming in that he would be the guy, dating back to last year. If you remember, he broke off some good runs for him. Cougars, really, though, the defense buoyed by those big turnovers. You got the secondary out there running around making plays. Great coverage a couple other times by Chase Edwards-Morgan. So strong things on the defensive side, and we'll look for more of that in the second half.
So Cougars with a 20-7 lead here over Grossmont. We'll take a look now. We got some alumni to spotlight here, Jesse. Quite a few of them playing on Saturdays and one playing on Sundays. I'll let you take over and take a look here.
Definitely. Alumni are some of the ones we're most proud about. Let's start with Jaron Pierce. Second game at Middle Tennessee State. Second game with a touchdown, 5 receptions for 74 yards. He's doing big things there, just like he did here at College of the Canyons. And then, of course, Andrew Brito, big-time quarterback for the Canyons, got his first touchdown pass at the NCAA D1 level last week versus Southern Illinois. UMass had not named a starter for this week, but Brito was expected to see some time again. So, again, looking forward to him. And, again, the big one, we teased it a little bit about at halftime, but you're looking at Bobby Brown from last year. But Marquise Hollywood Brown made his NFL debut last Sunday, a week ago, in his home state of Florida. 4 receptions, 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, some long ones. I believe one was an 82-yarder, just toasted the defense there, as he has done at Oklahoma and as he did here at College of the Canyons. So holds the distinction now as the only player to have multiple touchdowns of 40 or more yards in his NFL debut. And we are extremely excited for Marquise. We'll be rooting for him. And I just want to talk a little bit about his time here at College of the Canyons. The story is legendary. It's been told by a number of media outlets, but it does bear repeating. Marquise Brown arrived here at College of the Canyons in the spring of 2016 out of Hollywood, Florida, and that's where that moniker comes from. Pride of Shamadad Madonna High School, didn't get a lot of looks coming out of high school for whatever reason, decided to go the JUCO route. Had some extended family here in California, made a visit to College of the Canyons and found a home. And, things got going for Marquise early on. Again, you see some of this footage courtesy of the Baltimore Ravens. We truly appreciate their efforts in this package. But Marquise, hard worker, did a lot of the right things for this program, held a job at Magic Mountain, was actually a ride operator on the K2 attraction. So, never one to shy away from hard work. But the legend of Marquise Brown really started in spring practices. He was clocked at a 4.340 here and turned some heads, really made a big splash at spring practice. But it was really week 2 of the 2016 season. That game against Orange Coast College was really the coming out party for Marquise Brown. And, thinking back to that, he had 3 receiving touchdowns that game, long of 61. Also returned a kick, 84 yards for a touchdown. After the game, he was named SCFA Player of the Week. Got a lot of love on Twitter, a lot of those JUCO football sites. And from there, the offers started rolling in. This was a guy that took some trips, Had a lot of different opportunities he could pursue. Ended up, of course, settling at Oklahoma. After one season here at COC, went to Oklahoma, played in the Rose Bowl, did a lot of big things there. Had a chance to catch passes from 2 Heisman Trophy-winning quarterbacks. And then, of course, last April, on to the NFL, drafted with the 25th overall pick to the Baltimore Ravens, and was able to buy his mother a house in the offseason. We saw some of those clips on Twitter and Instagram, so definitely an exciting time of his life. Limited usage in the preseason for the Ravens, coming off foot injury during the offseason, so they weren't sure what to expect. But then again, week 1 just really blew up. Played a limited number of snaps, but made the most out of them. Like I said, 2 touchdowns in that NFL record we talked about. Perhaps more importantly for the casual fan out there, 30 fantasy points. So for those of you that play fantasy football, he was a hot commodity on the waiver wire. And I know someone in the league I played with swooped on him. So that was exciting to see. Marquise now having his first home game in Baltimore, going to have a chance to see his old college teammate Kyler Murray on Sunday. So Marquise, if you're watching or you get wind of this, we are rooting for you. You continue to go out there and do big things, and your Cougar family loves you.
I think Mike Cepeda wants to join us here, our director, producer, and all-around good guy from SoCal College Sports. I think he had a comment there. I saw you pull the headset up. That sounded like you wanted to say something.
Well, what happened last week is that we were talking about you should start him. I told you to pick him up and start him if you go back to it, and I can cut that out of the broadcast. So I think I got a little editing homework this week, but just an unbelievable player. Now, we had a chance to cover him versus in the Ventura game a few years ago when he was here at COC, and just obviously just a huge difference maker on the field. And you see the clips here, and obviously the numbers speak for themselves. But the fantasy aspect, of course, that's
your
a big
eyes
one.
lit up when you said because you recalled.
What's fascinating to me, he only played 14 snaps. He's nursing a hip injury. 14 snaps throughout the whole game, 4 catches, goes off, couple touchdowns, and the legend is born for a Hollywood Brown.
Yeah,
well, we joke about the fantasy points, but Marquise, a tremendous addition to our program, brought a lot of positivity, brought a lot of players from his home state of Florida. Shadrick Lowry, one of the guys that played with Marquise during their high school career, ended up becoming a Cougar himself and now has moved on to New Mexico. So just a tremendous boost for our program, and again, we're all rooting for you, Marquise.
So there you have your alumni report, and obviously your fantasy report as well. New segment here on the Cougar football broadcast as we get ready for second half action.
Jesse, have we started an SCFA fantasy football league yet?
No, we might need to.
Well, we have not, but I do like that idea. So maybe a little late this season.
You do it week 2, week 3. You got to know who everybody is after week 1.
Well, that would change the draft selection tremendously, because I have a feeling Marquise would go a little bit earlier than he did in the traditional round. So, again, Marquise, good luck this Sunday and the rest of the season.
As we get you ready here for second half action, as we said, 20-17, the 14th ranked Cougars over the Grossmont Griffins. It'll be Grossmont football to start here in the second half, as we'll take a quick break and come back with second half action in just a second. So we get ready to go here in the second half. Cougars about ready to kick it off, as Tanner Brown will kick it away. 2 Griffins standing right about the 10-yard line. It'll be Adelman and Hudson, as Brown will boot this one to the near side. Adelman right at the goal line will catch it, and he'll take a knee. So the Griffins will start at the 25-yard line. As we get going here in the second half, Cougars with a 10-point lead, or 13-point lead. Sorry, math is not my strong suit.
Well, this has been an exciting one thus far, and I look for some more fireworks here down the stretch. Beautiful night here at Cougar Stadium. Fans starting to get into it here a little bit. Cougars making some moves. We'll see if they can continue that. Like we talked about leading into the half, there's definitely going to be some halftime adjustments, I think, on both sides. So interesting to see how things will shake out here on this first drive and the rest of the game.
So Harris Legree will stay under center. Burnett in the backfield along back. 2 receivers out to each side. As we go on 1st and 10 here, they'll hand off to Burnett. He nearly fell down, then ran into a pile of Cougars. A wall there, and Benjamin Seymour, the first to meet him. Good tackle. He gets maybe a yard.
Well, Seymour is a guy, name you're going to get used to hearing. We've called it several times already. Last night had a strong game, week 1. So good to see him continuing on the right foot.
So it'll bring up 2nd down and 10 here. Clock ticking at 14:35. It's just underway here in the second half. 2nd and 9, excuse me, as Harris Legree under center will throw. Swings it out to the far side. Hudson with room. Gets a block and then gets run into by one of the Cougars. It was Courtney Chandler on the initial hit, but not before Hudson was able to pick up a first down.
On a good, clean, hard-nosed hit, that's what you'd like to see, come up and meet the offensive player right there at the sidelines and stop him in his tracks. So
it's a 10-yard pickup for Hudson. That's his 2nd reception of the day. It'll bring up 1st down and 10 from the 36-yard line. Harris Legree under center. Burnett in the backfield. They'll throw here on 1st down. A short pass. It was over the head of the intended target, trying to hit Malik Steen, but he was not able to get to it. Steen, pretty much the big go-to receiver for the Grossmont Griffins. Last week, 4 catches for 84 yards, but you can tell he gets targeted a lot from Harris Legree. That's kind of his go-to, his fallback guy. So it'll bring up 2nd down and 10 here. From the Grossmont 36-yard line. Burnett the lone back. Through receivers out to the near side. Cougars with a 3-man front, 4 linebackers in there. As they'll try and pick up the screen. Burnett not able to go very far. Is a good job to meet him right in the middle of the backfield. Gio Tarifa able to get to him first, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long.
So again, Coach Corbett's let's see what he dials up here. Want to get the Cougar defense off the field early. Let Eden and company go back to work. Had some success. You don't want to keep them on the sidelines too long. Interesting to see how they tweak their look, but first things first, 3rd and 8.
So you mark it at the 38. Cougars trying for another stop here. Harris Legree in the shotgun. He'll throw here on 3rd and long. Steps up into the pocket. Met from behind, just threw it up in the air, and I think he's lucky that was not an intentional grounding as Steen was in the area. But it'll bring up a 4th and 8, so likely the Griffins to punt here.
Well, I'll tell you who else was in the area, and we keep saying his name, number 51, Benjamin Seymour. See if we can get a look at that.
Seymour was right there again, and Legree did not have enough time to even really get a throw off, and I think it was maybe his elbow knocked when Seymour reached out. So the Cougars will receive the punt here with Smith and Elliott standing split between the 20-yard line. Kick is away, nearly blocked. Smith coming up makes the fair catch at about the 25-yard line. He fell down at the 24, and then he and one of the Griffins kind of laugh and shake hands a little bit. So the Cougars will take over at the 25. Their first drive here of the second half.
And nice pressure by Bradley Brown there. They say this is a game of inches, and I think he was just about an inch away from blocking that. So potential to be a big impact play. We'll continue to bring the heat on those.
So the Cougars will have their first look on offense. Eden, who's been in there all game, has looked very good so far today. We talked about him at halftime, 15 of 21 for 209, 2 touchdowns and an interception. The interception just maybe trying a little bit too hard, but We'll see what they designed for him here coming out of the halftime break. One back in the backfield with him. They will hand off. It's McFadden, nowhere really to go. He's wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage and taken down there. Actually, it's Cyrus Zool.
Well, Matt, what I like is you've kept Eden out there. I mean, we talked about the quarterback rotation. We knew that might be a potential thing. Might be too early to say that the Cougars have definitively found their guy, but the fact that he's taken every snap, continues to lead this offense, I think bodes well for him the rest of tonight and moving forward.
So it'll bring 2nd and 10. They say Zool got back to the line of scrimmage. He's a new back in there. First time we've seen him today. We've seen 3 different backs now as they'll hand off again to Zool. He'll cut it back to his right. Good job to get his foot in the ground, and he gets a big chunk, gets 11 there. Good run from Cyrus Zool, his 2nd run of the day.
And again, getting everybody involved. We saw Moises Haynes. We saw Caden Dunn. Now let's let another guy take a crack at it. A lot of talent out there. Keep running them out. That's a good way to tire out this Griffin defense.
And that was a really good run from him, Jesse. He cut it back, got his right foot planted in the ground, went back to his left really nicely. We'll see if they go back to him here on 1st and 10. They will. Again, he cuts it back to his left, tried to leap a tackler, and a good job to step up and get him, as it was Chance Lovato on the tackle, and they'll say he got back to the original line of scrimmage, so it'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Maybe not the result you want there, but I think, again, you continue to go back to him. You continue to, try and establish that run game, which will be an ultra importance here for the Cougars.
So clock at 11:25. 20-7 in favor of COC. They'll hand off again to Zool, and he's met in the backfield but wrestled off the tackler, stays up, cuts it back to his left, gets across the 40, gets a block, across the 45, and then knocked out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Good run from Cyrus Zool. He looked like he was wrapped up in the backfield and just muscled his man down as we take another look.
Yeah, great run. Took a hard hit on the sideline. You're going to see it here coming up in a minute. But again, going right back to him, stressing the issue, or forcing the issue, so to speak. Here he comes, reverses back, sees the hole, picks up a nice block from Longstreth, and then here, borderline maybe could have drawn a flag there, but
doesn't matter. It's 1st and 10 from the 48. Cougars will throw. They swing it out. Henderson Room has a block, gets across the 45 and tackled it right about the 42-yard line. Maybe the 43. He was mad, too. He thought he had plenty of room to move.
Just a step or two from breaking it and taking it to the house. If he could have got past that long defender, or that last defender, like we said, got him out in space. Ooh, he slips that one. He's gone.
And they mark him a yard short. Needed to get to the 42-yard line. Got to the 43, so the Cougars ahead of schedule here. 2nd down and 1. Eden in the backfield. Has Zool back there with him as well. Receivers out to each side as 2 tight ends in. Actually, they'll hand off to Haynes. It's Haynes in the backfield. He cuts it onto the outside, gets across the 35, and knocked it out of bounds at right about the 30-yard line, Good run for Moises Haynes.
Yeah, again, and good blocking up front. You're going to see here linemen sustaining their blocks downfield, receivers getting in on the action, and again, anything you can do to create that extra space and let your running back get those few extra steps. Well, all for naught now.
Yeah, another hold again.
Maybe the blocking was a little bit too good on that one.
So Kadeem Doof called for the hold, so they'll back the play up. And so the Cougars will start over now, 2nd and 11. So went from 2nd and 1 to 2nd and 11, and actually maybe not quite, because they say the hold was at the 40-yard line. So it'll bring up, 2nd and 7 here? It's right at the 50-yard line. Cougars need to get to about the 42. Bad snap. Got away from Eden, and he'll just fall on it way back inside the 35-yard line, and now it'll be 3rd and forever for COC.
Well, that's a tough break. That backs him up. I don't know what kind of play call you got here for 3rd and long. We'll have to see. The Cougars always have something, but definitely making the job a little bit harder for themselves with that.
First time we've seen that today with Eden and Palmer. Bad snap. Palmer usually very reliable. Maybe Eden wasn't quite ready for it. And so it'll bring up 3rd down and, as we should say, forever. They need to get to the 42-yard line of Grossmont. They're at their own 39, a favorable spot for COC. They see 24 yards on the pickup. Eden runs into Haynes. He'll scramble out to his left. Now he'll just tuck it and run. Cuts it back on the inside. Gets tackled right about the 50-yard line. So he got a big chunk. Runs back out like he wants to go again. And they say he got back to the original line of scrimmage at the 48.
Yeah, big chunk, but pays the price a little bit here. takes the hit. You got to like the gamer in him trying to get the extra yardage, but with that much real estate to have to try and cover, you hate for him to take too hard of a knock there.
So the Cougars will kick it away. Perry Steele will step back to about the 10-yard line for Grossmont as we get to see Tanner Brown for the second time on the punt duties. The first one, he kind of shanked it off the outside of his foot. We'll see if he gets a better go at it this time. Clean snap. Brown with plenty of time. An end-over-end kick will bounce at the 20, take a Cougar bounce, and roll inside the 15, down at about the 14-yard line. And that's where Grossmont will take over.
Well, again, an unfortunate set of circumstances there with that bad snap, setting up the long, third and extra long. We'll see again. The Cougars will look to their defense to try and get a boost. Coach Iacinda talking with Ed in there, maybe trying to iron out some of those issues that led to the snap.
38-yard punt, no return. And Grossmont takes over at their own 14-yard line. 1st and 10 with 8:20 to go here in the third quarter. Sharif Harris Legree under center will hand off to Burnett. He tries to find a hole, and Charles Ike meets him a yard ahead of the line of scrimmage. Good tackle from Charles Ike. First time we've called him today, and it'll bring up 2nd down and 9.
Yeah, first time we've called his name, but Charles Ike, one of our big-time players out there roaming around. Got a nose for the ball, got a nose for making tackles. So good to see him getting involved. And
he's definitely a run stopper. That's kind of what his MO was in high school when he played for Hart High School. Now here at COC last year was kind of that run stopper, doing the same on this one. As he holds Burnett to just a yard. They call it 2nd and 8, so they give him 2. And they'll throw here on 2nd and 8. Instead, Harris Legree will try and step up, and again, Charles Ike right there to meet him, along with, I believe it was Sterling Cooper on the initial contact.
Yeah, Charles Ike, number 2 on the team in tackles last year, picked up an all-conference nod. So happy to have him back for a sophomore season and making an impact early on in the second half.
It was Trevor Oho on the first contact as another new body in there. So it'll bring up 3rd down and about 5 from the Grossmont 19-yard line.
Maybe stating the obvious, but the Cougars would love to get off the field right here.
Harris Legree back to pass, pressured, dropped the ball. The ball is on the ground, and then a flag late, and it's in the area of a hold on Burnett. I think Harris Legree recovered it, but if you're COC, you knocked out. Benjamin Seymour knocks it away from him.
Well, I started to say, guess who? Benjamin Seymour. We've called his name all night, making another play. This guy's a high-impact dude out there, making sacks, making stops, swiping the ball. Love to see that, and it's something Coach Corbett I know is excited about.
So they say no foul on the play. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. I don't think COC would have taken that one as they backed up just enough anyway to about the 14, 13-yard line, it looks like, that you've kind of got them pinned deep. You're going to send Smith and Elliott back to receive right about midfield as Jake Browning will punt again.
Couldn't have drawn it up better. You get off the field quick, set yourself up for some great field position, maybe a little bit of a return.
4th time today, Browning will kick it away. This one a high, booming kick. A return set up for Elliott, though. He takes it about the 40, has a block, cuts it to the middle, across the 50. A flag in the backfield, though, so this one going to come back as he gets inside the 30-yard line. A block in the back likely on the Cougars. Another flag on the far side as one of the Cougars and one of the Griffins were tied up together. So 2 flags on the play, and this one likely going to back up to Cougar territory.
Yeah, it looked like the second flag was on Marquis Morgan. Coach Iacinda having some words with him there. You know, you never want to see things get chippy and get out of hand. Cost your team some yardage, so they'll talk about that one.
Yeah, Morgan and Bruno Prosper Kanam were tied up on that far side. So we'll wait on the officials to give us a signal here, but I would imagine a block in the back or a hold.
On the play. Hold it. On the return team. Illegal punt. Illegal block in the back. On the return team.
So we had both. Look at that. I had a 50-50 chance. I got them both. I was 100%.
Flip a coin. You would have got it.
So the block in the back is the penalty that will be taken as it's the personal foul. And they'll mark it from the 43-yard line and push the Cougars back to about the 33.
Yeah, an unfortunate penalty. It sets you back a little bit, affects the starting field position, but, you know.
All in all, you have to be happy, though,
Yeah.
Jesse, if you're Coach Isenda and Coach Corbett. Your defense did their job, got off the field, got lots of pressure on the quarterback in that last run.
And that's one of the little things that they will continue to address, break down on film, and do a better job of trying to execute.
Has Eden back out there in the shotgun. He has Dunn in the backfield this time with him. 2 receivers out to each side. They'll fake the handoff. Little trickery on a sweep. They have a man around the corner. It's brought up on the near side. He stays in bounds and then finally steps out. And it was TQ Gilmore on the sweep, so trying to get one of their speedsters out on the edge.
I like the play call there. A little bit of misdirection, come back the other way. Again, you got a lot of bodies out front leading the way.
Gilmore stays on the near side this time. Dunn in the backfield. Gilmore and Smith on the near side. Henderson the wide out on the far side as the Cougars will check back to the sideline and change the play. 15 on the play clock. 6:05 in the third quarter. Still 20-17 in favor of COC. The Cougars scored on their first 3 drives of the game and got points on their final drive of the first half. Yet to do anything so far. This their second drive here in this second half as Eden will throw, has all sorts of time, throws to the sideline, and it was just out of the reach of Amari Smith, the intended target.
Yeah, nice pocket, lots of time, made his reads, just wasn't able to connect and finish it off.
And Smith not quite tall enough to get to that one, had to kind of stretch back. The ball was a little bit too far behind him, but in terms of a throw, you like it from Eden. It's in a spot that only his receiver can get it. It keeps him from getting picked off. As it'll bring up 2nd and 10 from the 45-yard line. Cougars again will check the sideline here. There's a couple of hard counts and an opportunity to try and get Grossmont to jump. We've already seen it once today. Is now with 6 on the play clock. Eden back to pass. Throws the swing pass to Gilmore, and he's tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Lost a yard. And it'll bring up 3rd and long. They take away 2 yards from him. So it'll bring up 3rd and 12 here. Tried the swing as that was about all that Eden had for, as there were a couple of Griffins in the backfield with him right away. So 3rd and 12. Clock inside 5:15. Eden will throw here on 3rd and 12. Wants a big one. Throws downfield far side. Elliott caught at the 20-yard line, and he's taken down at the 15. Beautiful catch from Trayvon Elliott on a great throw from Armani Eden.
Oh, beautiful ball. Hits his man right in stride. That's a big-time play. Big gain. Sets up the Cougars. They are in the red zone knocking on the door. We're going to see it right here. Again, plenty of time. Nice pickup. Just throws it right over the shoulder. Hauls it in with the defender right on him. That was a nice catch.
They mark it at the 17-yard line. So 1st and 10, the Cougars in the red zone here. Eden in the shotgun with Dunn in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to the near side and a timeout for Grossmont. They don't have enough players on the field, and so they will take their first charge timeout. And so you talk about COC trying to find something on a 3rd and long, and I mean, a great strike from Armani Eden, finds Elliott, puts it right where he can catch it.
Well, Matt, I tell you, I think a little bit of the issue here, why they called that timeout, was to bark at the ref a little bit. Our guy stood up and did a little flex. Could have drawn a flag. I'm surprised it didn't. You know, you like to see the excitement, but you don't want to do anything like that and negate a big-time play. So, again, that's going to be one of those things. I see Coach Isenda with his hands on his hips. That's going to be something that they break down and tape. I mean, there's really no need for it. I understand you're excited. You're making a big-time play, but let your actions speak
and you
for
forget,
themselves.
These guys 18, 19 years old. You're on the other – you're talking smack with the guy on the other side of the field the whole time. And a late flag now, and I think Grossmont just picked up a penalty. Well, I think the coach is on the sidelines a little bit too intense.
Too emphatic about that. They tried to probably make their case. And
the back judge, who was way down the field, too, he was down at the end zone. So you had to be hollering quite a ways for him, and he threw a very late flag.
Well, and still talking to the coaches on the sideline there. So sometimes would love to hear what was said.
Yeah, well, it's probably not broadcast ready.
And I think you could guess just by virtue of the flag that came out. So. And so that was on head coach Michael Jordan.
Yep. So it's an automatic first down for the Cougars here as they'll move it half the distance to the goal. So the Cougars will be inside the 10-yard line. A first and goal from there. They'll mark it at the 8.5, it looks like. And as we wait for everybody to get set and ready to go, the Cougars will have a chance here. 4:45, trying to put points on the board, first and goal. Eden will stay in the shotgun. Dunn will be in the backfield with him. 3 receivers, including Clemens in the slot, the tight end, out to the near side. Eden takes the snap, will hand off. Dunn trying to find a lane. Gathered it right about the 6-yard line and taken down there. So a pickup of 2. It'll bring second and goal from the 6. Couple of Griffins in on the tackle there. Therese Patain was one of the first ones in on it. And we'll go second and goal from the 6. Cougars trying to get a man off late here, as they're missing an offensive lineman. Coming off the field was Assad Markosian, as he looks like he's a little bit shaken up trying to get himself dialed in. I think it's his shoes untied. Don't see that often. Teammate on the sideline helping him out.
It does happen. I think Logan Hagan in from Kentucky to fill the void there.
Option run here and into the end zone for a touchdown. Armani Eden and the Cougars strike here in the third quarter.
Well, his second rushing touchdown of the season, got one on a QB keeper last week. Here we see it, fakes the handoff, just follows the new guy, Hagan, follows him right up the middle and into the end zone for a touchdown.
Made his man miss, and you see some of that ability to run, which is something the Cougars like a lot out of their quarterback, and Eden has shown it so far. And that time, just a hard step, planted that right foot, cut back to his left, and beat the line into the end zone for a Cougar touchdown. His second rushing touchdown of the year. Excuse me, his first rushing touchdown of the year. As this kick up and good from Tanner Brown, and the Cougars have now pushed it to a 20-point lead.
Yeah, Canyon's well in control here. That's exactly what you wanted. Sustain the drive, you get the big play, but then you're able to finish it off by, getting in the end zone. So, again, clock ticking fast. A lot more running here this game on both sides than we saw last week. So, we're under 4 minutes to go in the third. Cougars look like they made whatever adjustments they needed to. I know the Griffins got a little rattled on that play call on the sideline. The penalty hurt them, but still have not been able to contain the Cougars thus far tonight.
6-play, 67-yard drive for COC. They took 2:45 off the clock in the Armani Eden touchdown. Makes it a 27-7 lead for COC. And so you miss on the first drive after a good start and a couple of plays to back you up, but that time you get it done. Eden with a big strike to Elliott and then runs it in on his own. And so the Cougars with that 20-point lead, as it'll be Brown to kick with Edelman and Hudson back to receive once again. Brown will kick it to Edelman once again. He'll take it at the 2-yard line. A return here, a chance. Right up the middle, up the gut, and then gets tackled. Good saving tackle from COC, as it was Joseph Miller on the tackle to make sure that Edelman couldn't get any more than the 30-yard line.
Yeah, tremendous job shutting that down, because I saw some space there, and he was heading toward it full steam.
Yep.
So way to make a play on special teams. That's one of the 3 phases of the game, and a great chance for some of these young men to go out there and make their mark.
Well, that's another spot that Coach Iacenda stresses, and he got that from Coach Chuck Lyon. That was one thing I remember sitting on the sideline when I was a student athletic trainer and watching them run kickoffs over and over and over.
Yep, just like anything else you need to execute.
New quarterback in the game, Lucas Arthur in there. He'll hand off on his first play, and Burnett will take it a couple of yards, maybe picks up 4. It'll bring up second down, and we'll say 6 or 7, and a late flag on the far sideline again. And I believe Michael Jordan has just picked up his second flag here as the side judge threw it.
Well, maybe some of the frustration starting to show. Again, I think he took issue with something that was said by one of our players. Looks like the ref came over and said something to Charles Ike. So Don't know what the issue is. Obviously something that's
And it's actually on COC, excuse me. The way the officials ran over to Ted Iacenda, I thought it was going to be on COC, and especially the way the Grossmont team reacted.
Yeah.
So it's an unsportsmanlike conduct foul. It'll move the ball up to the 47-yard line of Grossmont here. 48, excuse me. So it'll be 1st and 10 from there.
Well, again, we're not down there. We don't know what it said, but you got to think that's maybe a makeup call.
As Arthur will throw here on 1st down. Wants a big one down the far sideline. Pass knocked down, batted away, nearly picked off, as it was DeMaje Williams there to defend against Malik Steen.
Ooh, he got a hand on it and almost brought it down. That would have been a spectacular play, 3rd of the night for the Cougars. But, hey, regardless, broke it up, stopped the big play. Go back, line up, you'll get another opportunity.
So our first time seeing Lucas Arthur today. Had 11 passes last week, connected on 4 of them for just 24 yards. He's taken over here for Sharif Harris-Legree as he's under center. Will hand off to Burnett here on 2nd down. Burnett wrapped up by a group of Cougars and maybe picks up 2 or 3 yards, got to midfield, and I think that's where the mark is, right at the 50-yard line.
And I think for the Griffins, you're just trying something new. I mean,
you might as well, right?
Yeah, Harris-Legree made a couple bad throws. I'm sure he wished he had them back. Wasn't moving things along as much as Coach Jordan would have liked, so you go with the other guy, give him a chance, maybe you get a spark.
So it'll bring up 3rd and 8 here as they're right at the 50-yard line. Arthur back to pass, looking left side, thrown over the middle, and it was underthrown. Short of Malik Steen. In on the coverage again was DeMaje Williams, and it'll bring up 4th and long here from midfield.
Defense staying out there so far.
Well, I mean, you got to expect maybe here, Jesse, 4-down territory for Grossmont, trailing by 20, trying to get something going.
It is getting late. You got the penalty that moved you to midfield. You hate to squander that, not get anything out of it. And it looks like, they are going to
go for it here on 4th and 8 from midfield, right at the 50-yard stripe. Arthur under center, wants to throw, looking left the whole way, pass. Caught. Inbounds, good catch from Malik Steen, and it's a 1st down for Grossmont.
Well, you roll the dice and you come up 7s. Cougars brought a lot of pressure there, got it off just in time. Nice pitch and catch on the sideline. 1st down Griffins.
Williams was right there on tight coverage and just a good throw, only where the receiver could catch it.
That's exactly right. Got the job done there.
Another penalty on COC at the end of the play. Kendrick Hills called for the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty, so you march it ahead as it goes all the way up to the 26-yard line. Penalties hurting the Cougars here on this drive.
Yeah, this is something you need to nip in the bud right here. You can't let things get out of hand with the penalties. We've already aided them twice now. Getting closer to the red zone. I saw Coach Corbett waving his hands. Wasn't happy about that. Something you're going to have to clean up the rest of the way.
On 1st and 10, they hand off to Burnett. He cuts it through the middle, bounces off. One tackle, gets to the 20-yard line before he's dragged down. Gets a big chunk of yardage, 6 there as he gets to the 20. It'll bring up 2nd down and 4 as the Griffins ahead of schedule.
Yeah, and again, those penalties just give young men like Burnett another chance, another crack at it. Talented as he is, you don't want to give him too many extra opportunities. So again, little things can become big things, and you just try and you hope that they don't hurt you.
And, I mean, he's a very downhill runner. He puts a lot of punishing hits on players. He tries to run downhill here. Cougars wrap him up, but right at the marker, and I think it's going to be a 1st down, as he needed to get to the 16, and that is where he is. So they say 1st down. The Griffins move the chains, and inside $1:30 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, Matt, not only a downhill runner, but a runner that you can sustain your attack with. You can continue to go back to him time and time again. He's not a guy that Griffins can pound it.
When you look at his career last year, 166 carries, 914 yards. So you can just give him the ball.
Yeah, I mean, and even last week playing from behind the bulk of the time, 19, 20 carries. Yep. I mean, that shows that you're not going to go away from him regardless of the situation of the game.
And so they stay with him out there in a I formation. They'll throw here. Arthur over the middle pass. Misses, and then, Steen got hit, and a late flag from the field judge on the near sideline.
Wow.
And actually the back judge has it too. Steen over the middle was defenseless, and one of the Cougars, as we take another look at it here, I didn't see which corner got him.
Like you said, it was that collision coming right across the middle, maybe a little late. Yeah, there was really no need for that.
It's Jock Vukobradovic that time, and
again, a hard-nosed kid that flies to the ball and is anxious and wants to make a play. But in this type of situation, in the red zone there, you don't want to hurt your team. You already made a big-time pick earlier in the game. Now, I've lost count. Is that 3 or 4 penalties on this drive?
I think 4, maybe 5. We'll take a look.
And so you're really just you're keeping the Griffins around here, and they pop one in. This becomes a 2-possession game heading into the fourth quarter. So Burnett didn't get much on that one.
Nope, not at all. He gets back to maybe the 8-yard line, actually loses a couple of yards, goes back to the 11. So it'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 11-yard line here.
And it is essential that the Griffins try and punch this one in. I mean, you're going for it on 4th down at the 50.
Yeah.
You're absolutely going for it. No holds barred here. This is a key possession in the game. They don't get this here, it could be out of control.
They throw for the end zone on the near side corner. Pass incomplete. The intended target for Grossmont was Amari Colbert, but he just couldn't catch up to it. Good coverage by the Cougars on the near side. As I want to say it was Latif Adu on the coverage. Can't tell because I can't see his jersey number at this point. Might have been Cameron Bell, actually. So it'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 11-yard line. Big sequence right here for Grossmont. You need 6 if you can get it. They go with a 1 fullback set. They'll throw here. Cougars bring pressure, and Lucas is sacked in the backfield. Who else? Julian Salazar.
Salazar having a big game, makes another big punctuation mark on this one. You're going to see him coming off the corner here. Just flies right past the tackle, wraps him up. He's got his mate in the backfield there to meet him, but didn't really need his help. Jack Schultz was there as well. Nice job, Julian Salazar.
So that'll bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Salazar marks it with an exclamation point. So the Griffins will have a chance at a field goal back down to the left side of the field, the north side of the field here when we come back in just a moment, as it's 27-7 in favor of the Cougars here on SoCal College Sports and the Cougar Football Network.
Fans, if you'd like to support our program, you can visit cocathletics.com, go to the football page there and click the Donate Now button. A lot of hardworking student athletes out there need all the support they can get. We appreciate you tuning in, watching tonight's broadcast. And then don't forget, September the 28th, homecoming, big time, 50 years for College of the Canyons. We're going to get pregame festivities started at 4. Game kicks off at 6, but come on down, bring a friend, free admission for everybody. So hope to see you in the stands for that one. Should be good.
I'd like to thank our crew tonight here from SoCal College Sports. Mike Cepeda, our director, Mike Nahar, and Victor Espinoza, our camera operators, doing a great job as always here on SoCalCollegeSports.com.
And a big thanks to Yvette Sanchez
Absolutely.
on the pregame interview, and our statisticians here tonight, AJ Wilding, Matthew Tapia, and doing a great job. Appreciate their help as well.
As Browning on to try the field goal. The kick is up, and it is through the upright. So Grossmont gets the points on the board in the drive, and it's a 17-point lead for the Cougars here, 27-10, as, you know, results in a score for Grossmont, what you needed. Didn't result in 6, but you take what you can get at this point.
Yeah, interesting decision, but I do understand the mindset. You want to get something out of that drive. You don't want to let the penalties go to waste. You were that close. So, hey, you get one on the board. You're still down 17, but at least you don't walk away empty-handed. I mean, even though you're that close, there's still a long way to go, and the Cougars have been known for coming up with that big play, whether it be a turnover or a stop. So you get your 3 on the board. I don't know if it's too early to look onside kick here, but you're definitely looking turnover. Punch,
yeah,
pull,
absolutely,
rip,
absolutely.
And if you're Canyons, I think it's time to start grinding it out. We've shown 3 running backs with some ability out there tonight. You know, let's give the ball back to Caden Dunn, see what he can do. Maybe you get Moises Haynes involved again. But really no need to try and push the ball downfield unless that opening is there.
TQ Gilmore and Lennox Howard back to receive. Here is Browning standing at about the 26-yard line. Will run forward and will boot it away. Howard will take it at the goal line. He'll bring it out from there. and trips and falls inside the 20-yard line, inside the 15 really, kind of just stubbed a toe, and you can see him with his right foot just kind of go, oh, man.
What happened there?
So tough field position for the Cougars here at the 13-yard line after the kick. Just a 13-yard return for Lennox Howard. And he gets a pat on the helmet from TQ Gilmore. Says, it's all right. It happens to all of us.
Well, I think they're setting him up for film session. What'd you trip? You trip on the line there? What happened? So might have a little bit of explaining to do, but certainly he's going to get another crack at it, if not tonight, later on this season.
So we get another look at Armani Eden, who's been very good today. He's been excellent at the quarterback position for the Cougars. Has led a number of good drives downfield. So far today, 18 of 25 for 256. And the Cougars will get a short first down here as an illegal substitution call.
And that'll help. But, what I started to say is I'm interested to see how Eden here manages the rest of this game. Been spectacular already. The 2 touchdowns, ran another one in. Again, you have that excitement. Things are going in your favor now. You don't want to make mistakes and keep the Griffins in the game.
As they hand off to Zool here, he tries to jump around. Got to, we'll say, the 22-yard line, so a gain of about 4. And it'll bring up second down, and we'll call it 3, maybe 2. The Cougars need to get to, it looks like the 24-yard line. I can't tell with where the stick is.
Well, the most important thing, that clock continues to tick.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, hey, let's line up and go do it again. Looks like a double tight formation here.
2 receivers split out to each side. They'll hand off on the inside to Zool again, and he pounds his way forward across the 25 to the 27-yard line, and the chains will move. The clock will stop and then restart once they get set, so another first down for the Cougars. Very good job for COC today in terms of picking up yardage in chunks, getting first downs. Their 20th first down of the game. They've done a very good job both on the ground and in the air. 8 passing first downs and now 11 rushing first downs for COC.
And great job converting on some of those shorter downs, the 2nd and 5, the 2nd and 4, those tough yards, so to speak, right through the trenches. Zool on that last one, fantastic job.
So they'll throw here. Interesting. They want a big one downfield near sideline, just out of the reach of TQ Gilmore. Had his man beat, was wide open at the 40, and Eden just had maybe just a little too much touch on it.
That had fireworks written all over it, just out of the reach of his outstretched hands, right down the sideline. Streaks past the defender. Ooh, they're going to want to do that one over again. Even the offensive lineman saw what could have been. He saw Kadeem Doof throw up his hands, thought it was a touchdown call, and then quickly brought him back. But exciting, interesting to see the Cougars pushing the ball down the field like that, but that's our philosophy. Foot on the gas pedal, don't let up.
That was TQ Gilmore trying to find his way open, beat Robert Whitehead right off the line of scrimmage. So we'll see what they do here on 2nd and 10. They will keep it, and sacked in the backfield. Good job from Grossmont to bring pressure, as it was Corey Beebe on the sack. Nowhere for Eden to go, and he took a hard pop with it anyway.
Well, it looked like Eden was trying to roll out, had a little bit of protection, and somewhere along the way the Grossmont defender just kind of knifed through, found an opening, got to the quarterback. That's a big play for them. Sets up the dreaded 3rd and long. So, again, interesting to see how Eden will respond here, what the play call is going to be. I think the most important thing here is no turnover.
Yep.
If you're not going to get the first down, then let's get off the field and let our defense go out and make some more plays. So let's see what happens.
Need to get to about the 37. It's a 17-yard stretch that they need to get to, and the Cougars take way too much time and call a timeout before they get a delay of game penalty. So they'll talk about this third and long here. Makes you wonder if that, even though it didn't connect, will you do that, play on 1st and 10 again, or do you think, we should have maybe run it and taken a little bit of time off the clock?
I'll tell you what, there's 2 schools of thought. But the play was there. Again, folks, we want to remind you, if you'd like to make a donation to the program, cocathletics.com/sport/football. Also, you can follow us on COC Football on Twitter and Instagram. So all things Cougar football here. We appreciate you tuning in for the broadcast tonight, but follow us all season long on the website, on social media. And, again, we appreciate all the support we get from our donors.
And back to what you were saying, there's 2 schools of thought from the Cougars. One is step on the gas, the other is run out the clock, and the Cougars are definitely the former instead of the latter.
Yeah.
Step on the gas, go, go, go.
Well, especially when you see that opening there. Heck, the guy blows past the defender that easy. you better bet they're going to circle that one and come back to it. And it didn't work out that time, and you don't necessarily need it. But, again, the philosophy, if it's there, you take it.
All right, so it'll be 3rd and 17 here. Eden in the backfield. There's one back with him. We'll swing it out onto the near side. Smith stays on his feet and then fell down at the 13, so they go all the way back to the 13-yard line. Good news is the clock will continue to run, and the Cougars will likely use the full 40 here as they get Tanner Brown out on the field to punt it away.
Well, the Griffins have got to be excited about that. Back-to-back plays. Now they get the ball back. Still a lot of time here. You go with a quick strike and things change in a hurry. So I think for College of the Canyons, you want to execute this punt here, and then you bring your defense back out. Probably having already told them, hey, let's limit the penalties. Let's no more mistakes. We have this game, but we don't want to let it slip away. So let's see what they can do.
Perry Steele standing at about the 40-yard line of Grossmont as Brown will kick a high end-over-end kick. It's taken at the 45. Steele cuts it back to his right as he got around one man, tries to get the corner, and then is pushed out of bounds at the Cougar 42-yard line, and that's where the Griffins will take over. Don't forget you can watch this game again on SoCalCollegeSports.com or on SCVTV.com. And if you have SCV TV's local channels on AT&T Uverse, you can pick it up on AT&T Uverse 99 or I'm blanking on the other channel, and I should know this, so that's my fault. But you can catch it on SCV TV on Monday nights. It'll play, and it'll stream live online as well on Monday nights. So make sure you head there. They're one of our partners this year. We thank them for picking up the games. Always good to get some more exposure for the Cougars. As on first down, the Griffins will throw on the near side and run out of bounds, but not before he picks up 9 yards, is Perry Steele on a good throw from Lucas Arthur, who stays in there at quarterback.
And, Matt, you mentioned both the live stream and the replay. We want to give a special shout-out to all our fans near and far tuning in to watch Cougar football.
Time Warner Channel 20, thank you. I knew it would come to me. I should know that. I've said it a million times, and it just, you lose your train of thought. So we go 1st and 10. They move the sticks. Arthur on play action will throw. Looking over the middle of the field. Pass is caught by Malik Steen, and he picks up a big chunk of yardage inside the Cougar 15. And Arthur so far looking good in his second drive here.
And Grossmont picking things up. Linemen rushing up to the line, knocking on the door here. Like I said, a quick touchdown here, and we've got a whole different ball game. So if you're the Cougars, it's time to buckle down.
Arthur under center. 2 backs in the backfield. He'll throw here on first down. Throws towards the corner, and he just threw it out of bounds. He threw that to the track out there, and he had a good matchup on coverage. Dew was out there, and he has kind of turned around, but couldn't connect.
Yeah, I think like you said, liked the matchup, saw maybe his guy had a step and just let it rip, but a little too hard, out of the end zone, line up and do it again.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 14-yard line. Need to get to the 4 for a first down. Of course, in the red zone, trying to get a strike. Last week they were 25% from the red zone, but did not score a touchdown in the red zone, so trying to get one here. Burnett cuts it back, and he's tackled by a group of Cougars, but not before he picked up 2 yards. Got to about the 12, maybe the 11 and a half. And it'll bring up 3rd down and about 7.
I want to see that was Madison Wheeler for one of the first times we've called his name tonight, coming up and making the big stop. Again, we talked about it a few series ago, a crucial play for the Griffins, and I think we're about to have that same situation here. I mean, you got to score a touchdown here. You'll take the field goal, I suppose, but the 6 is what you're looking for.
Arthur under center. Cougars going to bring some extra pressure. Throws towards the corner. Pass picked off, but I don't know if he stayed in bounds. A great play, and they say it's an incomplete pass. And it was Chase Edwards-Morgan again, I think, on the coverage.
He's having himself a ball game, let me tell you.
Ooh, he got a foot down. Yeah. That was an interception.
Well, that's when you wish you had the red flag at this level. Yeah. We want to take another look at it. But, a bang-bang play. The refs are doing the best they can out there. Regardless, a tremendous play by that young man coming up and making that big-time pick. Yeah, I'll tell you what, scouts will notice that. Yeah. So, good job out there, Chase.
Griffins are going to go for it on 4th and 8. Big play here as Arthur well back throws the screen. Pass is caught. Edelman inside the 5. Did he get to the first down marker? He did. He got to the 3. Big 4th down conversion for Grossmont, and they have a fresh set 1st and goal from the 3-yard line.
Well, that was huge. Circle that one. If this game goes on to become any closer than it already is, you're going to look to that play. Looked like a little screen package, almost got stopped before it even got started. A little collision with his lineman there, but was able to get the first down. Those hard yards are what can make or break games.
And now they go with a power run package here for Burnett. They'll hand off here, and he's met in the backfield. Knocked down at the 6-yard line. Good job by the Cougars to get in and get to him. It was Tyler Richardson the first to meet him.
Tyler Richardson, another big-time play for him. We've mentioned it earlier in the game. See him just come up and fill the hole there. But this is a young man that had 8 stops last week, a couple turnovers, so a playmaker out there for the Cougars, and no better time to make a play than right in this situation.
So it'll bring up 2nd down and goal from the 6 as they back him up 3 yards. Richardson with a huge tackle for loss there as they stay kind of in a big package. They put some trips receivers out to the right this time. Stays with Burnett in the backfield. They'll throw here. Arthur steps up, met in the backfield, and he's sacked. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage as he tried to step up. It was a trio of Cougars there. It's hard to tell who got in on the initial hit.
Yeah, like we said, swarming to the ball. You see Jack Schultz there.
And I think it was Schultz who you said got in on the first contact.
But also Taylor Lewis in the neighborhood gets up flexing and was happy with himself on that one. 3rd and 6. Again, this is crunch time for the Griffins. A lot of big bodies up there. Was surprised to see them in that powerhouse formation not run the ball.
2 receivers out to each side. They'll throw Arthur into the end zone, but he threw it well over, and he took a hard pop from 2 Cougars. Again, Schultz was there, and this time Caleb Johns on the blitz got a piece of him.
Yeah, Cougars have their motors running out there, and you get a couple big-time hits, it just revs it up a little bit more. So look for them to continue to bring it. They are going to take the field goal here. I guess it does make sense. You make it a 2-possession game. Again, you don't leave empty-handed. Cougars, I think, will be satisfied with that. You kept them out of the end zone.
Absolutely.
Had your backs against the wall. And, again, up to the Griffins to execute here. Nothing's automatic. I know we kid around that Tanner Brown is, but there's still a snap, a hold, and a kick to execute. So
24-yarder here for Browning. He'll put the kick up, and it's good. Browning so far perfect on the day. Makes his 3rd, and it's a 2-score game. 27-13. Cougars by 14. The 14th ranked COC Cougars in the lead. And we'll get the ball back here with 8:29 to go in the 4th. So a good drive for Grossmont, but a better response from the COC defense, something we did not see last week. Last week, Saddleback would have been able to punch that one in. This week, the Cougars defense standing tall near the goal line.
You know, that's all the difference in the world. You take away a couple of those late first-half touchdowns from the Gauchos, it's a different ball game. I mean, it was 10-10 with 5 minutes to go. Saddleback was able to punch 2 in. Go into the halftime locker room, come out with all the momentum, and things maybe got out of hand for the Cougars. So, you know, that was last week. This is this week. You're in control of the game still. Grossmont with back-to-back scoring drives. But, again, and I'll say it again, you can't stress it enough, you don't want penalties and the little things to help the Griffins get back into this game.
So we'll keep an eye, see if it's onside kick time as Gilmore and Howard back to receive, standing at about the 5-yard line for the Cougars. Browning will run up and will boot this one away. It'll be Gilmore to take it this time from inside the goal line, about 2 yards deep. He'll bring it out across the 15, cuts inside, across the 30 now, has blockers out in front, cuts it back to the 50, inside the 40, has one man to beat, dragged out of bounds at right about the 20-yard line. Great return for TQ Gilmore.
Well, I spoke a little too soon. I hope I didn't jinx him, but look here, he's going to get the ball in space, already has an opportunity to work up ahead of steam here, and then watch this little cut right here. Boom! Goes, sees the opening, blockers down the field, hits the sideline, and, man, from there it's a foot race. Excellent angle. I think that's the kicker, 14, that actually pushed him out. So you know that's something they work on, angle of pursuit. That's a skill that came in handy there, but another big-time play for the Cougars.
It's actually Joseph Perez, a wide receiver, so credit him on the play. I mean, absolutely a great angle.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Gilmore runs it back and almost took it 102. Instead, it's a huge return for TQ Gilmore, and the Cougars will call it a 81-yard return. And the Cougars will start 1st and 10 from the 24-yard line, late getting a man on the field here, and they will take a timeout.
Well, I think maybe a little bit too much excitement on that sideline. You got guys jumping up and down, hitting each other in the head and the helmets. Somebody missed the call to get out there on the field.
I think it was Elijah Eby who was late to get out.
Again, that's something the coaches will let them know about, something you want to do a better job of executing. But fortunately, we have that timeout to use. You're still in control here, knocking on the door once again.
So a huge return from Gilmore, 81 yards, sets the Cougars up in the red zone. 1st and 10 from it's actually inside the 20. It's actually at the 19-yard line. So,
and again, going back to that kickoff return, I mean, that's the type of thing when you're at the JUCO level, when you're trying to make a name for yourself, those big-time plays, when you're showing those flashes of speed, that's the thing that scouts can really pick up on, and the opposing coaches will circle and try and key on. So again, tremendous job for that young man.
Gilmore, the freshman out of Los Angeles, went to Esteban Torres. Has a good return here off the kickoff and puts the Cougars in a good position to try and put this one a little bit further out of reach. As they lead by 14 with 8:17 to go. Eden stays in there at quarterback. Zool in as the lone back. They will hand it off to him. Actually, it's Cartillis McFadden, and he tries to cut it up and able to pick up 3 yards. So McFadden's first carry of the day. Good to see him out there, our 4th different back today for the Cougars.
McFadden, a returner out of a lot of South Carolina. Good to see him getting involved. Again, Coach Iacena did not shy away. There's a lot of talented young men in this backfield, a lot of guys he can go to. So it's interesting to see how he chooses to do that and at what points in the game. So far, so good.
So the Cougars will let the clock run here. Inside of 15 seconds on the play clock now, as Eden in the shotgun will take the direct snap, fake the handoff, will keep it himself on an option run, gets the corner outside the 10. There's a flag down in the backfield. That's in the area of a hold, so this one likely going to come back as Eden got inside the 5, but it's pretty much for naught.
Well, that's too bad. That was another strong run. Again, showing good vision downfield, seeing how the defense is pursuing and then making his adjustments from there. Just beats him flat out speed around the corner and then bounces it out to the sideline. But like you said, all for naught with the hold.
So it'll back the Cougars up. It'll bring them 2nd and long here as they'll move back 10 yards from the spot of the foul, which was about the original line of scrimmage at the 19. So it'll bring them back to the 29. Actually, mark it at the 30-yard line. Actually, halfway between the 29 and the 30. So, give or take. It'll bring up 2nd and long here. As Eden will check to the sideline again here. Takes his time. Clock inside 10 on the play clock. Eden back in the shotgun. They move McFadden to the other side. 2 to get the play off. He does. He'll throw on the outside. Pass caught. Great leaping catch. And I believe it was TQ Gilmore on the far side. No, pardon me. It's Elijah Eby on the catch.
Ooh, and a tremendous job wheeling this one in. A little bit of a dangerous ball out in front of him. Eby's able to go out and just get it. But that's a couple inches in the other way. That could have been dangerous.
Absolutely, but it puts them in 3rd and 2 from the 11-yard line. They need to get to the 9 for a first down. Clock continuing to tick in favor of COC here as the play clock inside of 15 now. 6:30 to go in the 4th quarter. 14-point lead for the Cougars. Eden in the shotgun will hand off. McFadden puts his foot in the ground, cuts it back inside the numbers, and gets enough to get the first down. He gets to about the 6-yard line. Actually, they'll say the 7. So it'll be 1st and goal from there. Good job from Cartillis McFadden on the run.
And again, Matt, another important play. It doesn't look so much maybe in the box score, 3rd and 2, you're up 2 touchdowns, but the ability to move the chains, get that first down, prolong the drive, keep the Griffin offense off the field, that speaks volumes for what the Cougars are trying to do here in closing out this game.
Cougars going to take their time here. Griffin's getting a new set of defenders on the field as they pretty much subbed out the entire defensive unit. And the Cougars look like they're going with some big bodies up front. McFadden stays in the backfield. 5 on the play clock. They need to get it off quickly here. Eden will take the snap. He'll hand it off to McFadden. Tries to get the corner, cuts it back, and a touchdown for the Cougars. Cartillis McFadden.
Well, I really like this play call. You talked about Grossmont bringing in some of the bigger bodies for that goal line front. Canyon saw it, bounced it outside. Those big bodies are there for great up the middle, but not able to reach that contain. McFadden in for his first touchdown, and the Cougars back on top and well in control here with 5:38 to go. Big time play, way to execute there.
So a 20-point lead now for the Cougars as Tanner Brown on to try the point after. And a huge run for McFadden, his first touchdown of the season and just his first appearance of the season, but a good little drive for him. As Brown, as usual, automatic puts it in. And so now it's a 21-point lead for the Cougars, 34-13 with 5:38 to go. The drive resulting in a touchdown for COC. Just 4 plays, 19 yards after the huge return from TQ Gilmore, but you take it any way you can get it if you're the Cougars.
And you got to be happy with that. Like I said, you limit the mistakes, you punch it in. Not that you ever lost control, but you strengthen your hold on this game. And with 5:38, now the onus is really on the Griffins to try and pick up the pace and make things happen in a hurry. Going up against this tough Cougar defense, that's easier said than done. But again, you see Coach Crater out there talking to the guys out there on special teams. No mistakes, nothing, let's not get out of our realm here. Let's keep doing what's working, close this out, 5:38 to go.
And we talked about all game long from Coach Isenda wanting to establish the running game, a very balanced offense for the Cougars tonight. 28 pass attempts, 28 run attempts. It's been very good. You've seen the running backs do their jobs, and Armani Eden, I think, has pretty much solidified himself, I would say, as the starter at this point. It's not to say Holdon won't get opportunities, but I think you stay with Eden right now after the performance today.
Sure. I can't think of a reason why you would go away from him. A lot of positives last week, even more here on week 2. And again, Matt, like you said, the balanced offense, that's more the Cougars' traditional style, a little more what we're accustomed to seeing.
As the kick taken at the 2 by Malik Steen, his first return attempt today, and he gets back to the 21-yard line. That's where the Griffins will take over. So like you said, balanced, 28 passes, 28 runs. You credit Armani Eden. He's been very good today, very efficient. 20 of 28, 271 yards, 2 touchdowns. The backs all getting chances today, 4 or 5 carries for everybody. McFadden with a touchdown run, Eden with a touchdown run, Zool with 32 yards, Haynes with 40, Dunn with 63. So it's been excessively balanced for the Cougars today.
And nothing happened.
As on first they'll throw, swing it out to the far side. Pass was caught by Perry Steele, and he'll gain a few yards here.
Sorry, Matt, I started to say none of that happens without the guys up front. And a tremendous job by this offensive line tonight, both the run, shifting back to pass protection. A couple miscues here and there, but that's to be expected no matter who the opponent is. But a tremendous job. Eden has had time all day back there to kind of pick apart this Grossmont defense, and he's done exactly that.
So 21-point lead here, 5:05 to go. Arthur in the backfield will 3-step drop. Throws downfield looking far sideline. And good defense by the Cougars as in coverage it was either Latif Adu or Matt Ballantyne. I couldn't pick up a number, but 2 of them were over there, and they just kind of stayed in their lane and kept Steen from being able to get to it. So it'll bring up 3rd and 6 here from the 25-yard line. 8 different receivers today catching passes for the Cougars as we go back to the offense real fast. That's another good sign for them, as last week it was very limited. So on 3rd and 6 here, Grossmont will throw. Arthur just kind of spikes it into the ground, was trying to get it to Dominic Hudson, and he threw it right at his feet as there were 3 Cougars in the backfield right with him.
And Matt, you talk about all the different guys getting involved, and that just really speaks to the depth of this roster and the amount of talent here at College of the Canyons. I mean, you think a year ago we transferred 25 guys on to the next level, and a lot of holes, a lot of production that has left. But this new crop of freshmen transfers have come in and really just stepped up and gotten themselves involved.
Defensively as well, 25 different guys with a tackle or some sort of mark on the score sheet today. I mean, the defense has been there. Cougars nearly get another block as it'll be taken at the 35-yard line, and hit immediately was Amari Smith, but good hands by him to just hold on to it, as there was pretty much a Grossmont Griffin right in his face as he caught the ball. And the Cougars will take over at the 36 with 4:45, and I would expect a heavy diet of either Dunn, McFadden, Haynes, or Zool here.
Yeah, or a combination of all of them maybe. Like we said, you want to close out this game strong. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw one of the bigger packages and have a little fun here. Not that you want to do anything at the expense of the Griffins, but again, getting those guys involved, instilling that confidence, letting them know, hey, we might come to you. You got to be ready.
New quarterback in there for the Cougars, so they give Armani Eden the rest of the night off, it looks like, is Michael Wilson in there to take his first snaps of the season. The sophomore out of Woodbridge, Virginia, at Freedom High School, getting his first chance. He'll hand off here on first down, and not a lot of room to run for, I believe it was Zool. I'm trying to get a number here.
And I like that decision. Eden obviously done nothing wrong, but the game's in hand, and let's get Wilson some snaps. It's very important to have your backup be able to, feel confident enough to step in at any time, and I think that's what this does. You get him some snaps, you see what he can do. I wouldn't be surprised you let him throw a ball just to get one under his belt.
You also get Jordan Anderson in there. He's the back in there out of Bishop Alamany High School from Mission Hills, California. He'll take actually a little option run, and a good job from Wilson to keep it. Gets up to the 40-yard line. Late flag, way late. And I think that's going to go against COC as there's a Griffin down in the middle of the field. I think the Cougars may get an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty here.
Well, again, it's getting late. You don't want to see those types of things, especially when you already have the game in hand.
Stops the clock, too. That doesn't help.
It's not good on any level.
Actually, it's going against Grossmont here, so.
Well, I'm sorry, boys. I was chiding you there a little bit.
There I go. That's my fault, too, for speculating. The way the flag came late and with the Grossmont player down, I was certain it was going to be against COC, but it's not, so the Cougars get a fresh set of downs here, and that only helps as the clock will restart here with 3:57, now inside of 3:50 as it's 1st and 10 from the Griffins' 45. Anderson stays in there in the backfield. Wilson, the quarterback. Two receivers out to the far side. There's two tight ends set in there as well. They'll hand off to Anderson. Tries to get the edge on the near side. Cuts it back inside the numbers. Gang tackled by 4 different Griffins, but they say he got to the 43-yard line, so a pickup of about 2. But it's good to see Anderson getting some reps here. Like you said, the freshman out of Bishop Alamany, Bishop Alamany, a very good team this year in high school football. We watched them last night a little bit on Fox Sports, and they blew out Oaks Christian, so he comes from a program with a pedigree. Always
a strong program, and you get a win over a program like Oaks Christian. That certainly bodes well. So always happy to have our Alamany guys join the program.
As Wilson looks back, the Cougars will use more time off the clock. Inside 7 on the play clock here, 2:52, as Eden will hand off again to Anderson, and he's taken down back near midfield. So a big loss for Anderson here, but the clock continues to run, and I think Grossmont will use one of those timeouts that they have left up on the board to try and get the ball back here. As he's taken down back at the 49-yard line, it'll bring up 3rd down and long. The length of the chains +4 for the Cougars to pick up for a first down here as the clock inside 2:38. Stopped right there as it'll be 3rd and long here for COC, but a good second day as we look at Jack Schultz out of Granada Hills High School. He's had a pretty big game, one of our star players for the COC defensive unit. Tanner Brown, of course, we talk about Tanner quite a lot. So Tanner, superb kicker, another great performance today. Perfect on the point after touches, has a field goal as well, as he's looked excellent today. Haven't called Trey Villar's name much today.
Still one of our captains out there. I've seen him out there flying around. Like you said, not really on the stat sheet today, but again, another big-time player who is going to make an impact before this season's done.
Does have a tackle today, solo tackle himself, and Azad Marcosian, another one of our captains, as we take a look at them. We didn't get a chance to give you their names and identify them before the game, so we do it now. And
Marcosian, a good part of that offensive line we talked about earlier. Folks, again, if you want to donate to support the College of the Canyons football program, go to cocathletics.com/sport/football. Click the Donate Now button.
As Wilson will throw here, the lefty rolling to his right will throw it downfield, has a man. EB caught inside the 5. And did he get to the end zone? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Cougars.
Touchdown Cougars, and that's exactly what I alluded to a little bit before. You don't necessarily need to push the ball down the field, but you see here Wilson shows a little bit of the arm, has his man Burt the defense, and what that does in terms of the confidence it instills in Michael Wilson is tremendous. Comes in on his one drive and gets a, I don't even know how long that was, yard touchdown.
49-yard strike to Elijah Eby, his second career touchdown. The Cougars find a way to score. 5 plays, 64-yard drive. And Tanner Brown on again to try the point after touch.
And I think what's most exciting about that play is how excited his teammates are for him. Look at him down there. I mean, the backup, you weren't sure if he was going to get in, came in and put his mark on this game. Tremendous job, Michael.
So the PAT is good, and the Cougars have extended the lead now. 28-point lead, 41-13 COC, and you needed a bounce-back week after last week.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you're getting it this week. You're getting a 28-point lead right now after getting blown out by Saddleback 45-20, right back to a bounce-back week, and this is the Cougar team we kind of expected coming into the year.
And I think if you're Coach Iacinta, you've checked all the boxes on your goal list this week. You came in, you wanted to clean up the mistakes. You did that. You came in, you wanted to establish the run. You obviously did that. You built on the success of Eden from last week. Defense made the turnovers like we've become accustomed to seeing. So, like you said, all around a great performance. You know, you look ahead at the schedule. We're on the road next week at Santa Barbara. This is a team that we saw in the scrimmage. Kind of know what to expect from them, but of course, no one shows their whole hand of the scrimmage. And then right back here at home at Cougar Stadium versus Cerritos for our homecoming game, and then make the trip to Golden West. And then we get into conference play. And, you know, that's never a cakewalk. A lot of talented programs in this conference. Cougars are going to have their work cut out for them. But, again, you like what you see here. There's a lot to build on, a lot to be excited about.
As this kick taken at the 2-yard line by Jared Ailman. And he gets it to about the 15-yard line, maybe the 16, depending on the spot. So the 14th-ranked Cougars should pick up a victory here today with 2:21 to go. It's just a, I think, matter at this point of by how much, as they've looked good all around. The offense very good today. 320 passing yards in total for COC. 171 rushing yards, a much better day on the offensive side. 491-yard performance for the offense. The defense has looked good as well. They've given up 247 yards, but they've gotten big stops when they need them.
Yeah.
As Arthur to throw here on first down. The pass is caught. Steen wrapped up by a couple of Cougars and then some late jawing over at the sideline, but nothing results of it. It'll bring up second down here.
Well, you know, what's good about a situation like this, you build this cushion. You're obviously in control, final minutes. You get to throw some extra bodies out there. You get to get some guys some experience, some snaps, maybe guys that didn't get to see the field. Hey, sure, it's a small sample size, but just to be out on the field and get that experience is going to be very important moving on in the season.
As Arthur throws over the middle, a nice catch by Peyton Monson. First time we've called his name today out of Southridge High School in Texas. And a first down for the Griffins as they move the clock. Inside of 145, Arthur will hand off here, and Ailman met in the backfield. Good job by the Cougar run defense, as this time it was Rayvon Wilkins in on the tackle. And the Griffins going fast here, 2nd and 10, trying to move quickly. Arthur will throw, pass caught over the middle, and caught by Amari Colbert. Just a short gain, picks up about 7. But again, the Griffins working in that 2-minute offense, trying to get something going. They stay fast here, and this is something to build on for them next week as they will move on to play Mount San Jacinto as this one. Arthur all the way back after a bad snap, throws it away, and I think he's lucky that it didn't get picked off because he kind of just threw it into an empty space, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 10 here. So for Grossmont, as we said, they move on to play Mount San Jacinto next week, a 3 p.m. start. For the Cougars, on the road for the first time. Santa Barbara City College, a 6 p.m. start out there. That should be a fun one. And then back home against Cerritos. That's our homecoming night. Remember, Don't forget, free admission to anybody that shows up to the stadium. If not, we'll have it for you here on SoCalCollegeSports.com and the Cougar Football Network. Don't you worry. As we bring up fourth and 4 here is Arthur to throw. Screen pass deflected, and it goes down. And the Cougars will take over on downs and likely just take a knee to end this one, as Coach Ted Iacenda has the headset off, just talking to Michael Wilson here. And I mean, a good victory for the Cougars today. They looked good on all sides of the football. Special teams was very good. A big return from TQ Gilmore at one point. And you talk about cleaning things up, and they did just that, Jesse.
Well, and to a man, from the coaching staff to the players, a tremendous week of practice. I think the guys were really determined to get out there and improve on last week. Like you said, clean up some of those things, take the next step. You know, Saddleback is a very talented program. They showed that again tonight. So not taking away anything from the Cougars with that loss, but again, this is a better depiction of what this program and what this team can do.
As victory formation, Wilson takes a knee. Cougars will have to run one more play here, as there's a 2-second difference between the game clock and the play clock.
Thank you again for all our staff who helped make this broadcast a possibility. SoCal College Sports, our partners for the 3rd year here, Matt Robinson on play-by-play, AJ Wilding, Matthew Tappy on statistics, Yvette Sanchez with our pregame interview, Mike Nahar on camera, Victor Espinoza on the sideline cam.
And, of course, Mike Cepeda, our director and color commentator extraordinaire, engineer, everything that he's done today. That's it. Cougars get the victory, 41-13, as we will step aside for a few moments. We'll come back. We'll clean up some final stats and get you ready up for next week, as the Cougars get a big win here in week number 2 over the Grossmont Griffins. Welcome back in Cougar Stadium. Matt Robinson, Mike Cepeda here with you as we clean up the final numbers. Cougars with a 41-13 victory over the Grossmont Griffins. Mike, a pretty solid performance for COC today.
Nice bounce-back performance after a humbling loss in Week 1 versus what could be the best team in the state, possibly the nation.
Yeah.
Saddleback loaded another win tonight, big one over the rival here in the north, Ventura College. So COC evens up their record to 1-1, and it's Santa Barbara next week, and they'll look to go on a run.
A fun little test on the road for the Cougars next week. If they play with the balanced offense like they did this week, which saw 491 yards of offense, of course Armani Ed leading at 20 of 28 for 271 yards, 2 touchdowns. The Cougars expect to be competitive and a good turnaround performance for that offense this week.
Exactly right. It's something where they were a little outmatched. Not there yet, but I think you see a lot of the potential here on display for College of the Canyons. You see that big playability that they have. They can score in a hurry. We saw that with the final TD that punctuated the ball game here tonight versus Grossmont. But you know, it's you can't waste any downs. You can't waste any opportunities to learn and get better as a team. This is a team that can be right there right when it's all said and done. 5
different backs today, running the ball, 8 different receivers for the Cougars. As balanced as you just about can get.
Well, Jesse talked about the depth that this team has, defensively and offensively, and that's going to prove huge coming down the stretch, especially when you talk about the postseason and potential what ifs. So obviously, if they can get going, maybe get a loss here and there, they could be right in that Final Four here in Southern California to give themselves a shot.
On the other side of the ball, Jonathan Thomas, Jocko Kubradovich leading the team in tackles. They had 4 sacks as well. Julian Salazar, Madison Wheeler, Taylor Lewis, Tyler Richardson, each with 1 great defensive performance from the Cougars against this Grossmont Griffins offense.
Yeah, they did what they needed to do. I think Grossmont may be a little down this year, and I think this is one that the COC defense needed. They need to build up their confidence, and now when you start to play teams of a little bit more of an upper echelon type of offense, they're going to hold their ground. Jesse was talking about it last week. They were right there at 10-10 at a certain point of that ball game, and they had an opportunity, but it was a war of attrition. And when you have
especially that high-powered Grossmont, Saddleback offense that just kept
not only is it high-powered, they got a lot of power too, but they also have a lot of athletes, a lot of speed, just a lot of everything, and that's why Saddleback is where they are. But COC, they're going to make some noise before it's all said and done. That's for sure.
So pretty good bounce-back performance from the Cougars. Remember, you can donate. Go to cocathletics.com/sportsfootball or fball. Donate now for COC. Help support the program. We appreciate that. We appreciate you joining us here today. Remember, our next broadcast on the 28th of September. Homecoming here against Cerritos College. Should be a fun one. Another rival. Festivities kick off at 4 p.m. It'll be free tickets for everybody. Kickoff at 6. It should be a good time. Food, all sorts of pregame activities. We'll be here. It's on SoCal College Sports if you can't make it, but we hope you can join us here at the stadium anyway.
Yeah, join us live, or you can catch the live broadcast of the archived copy of this game and every other game. And of course, we also have SCTV. Bit of a shout out to them. They'll be re-airing the game this week. Some technical difficulties throughout. I believe YouTube was having an issue, or having an issue with some of our other streams as well. So apologies to everybody involved there. But we're glad that you stuck with us, you bore with us, and we were able to get the stream off. And it's a COC win here tonight, and they win it big.
They win it big. The final score 41-13 in favor of College of the Canyons. We thank you for joining us here on SoCalCollegeSports.com and the Cougar Football Network. And we'll see you in a couple weeks for homecoming here on SoCal College Sports as the Cougars get ready to take on Cerritos.